At 2 o'clock on a pretty busy afternoon. A couple things to keep in mind here this afternoon. This is one of them right now. The dollar starting to put in a bit of a bounce right now. DXY back to the upside. This is a daily chart. So the trend's still firmly downside, but we are well off the lows at this point. So a little bit of a bounce underway. 102.5 coming into play, which was, you got to go all the way back to essentially the summer. To find that 102 to 103 area on support as far as the daily chart is concerned. NVIDIA, the CFO, presenting at a UBS conference today, talking about more options for Chinese products or products that are going to be eligible to be shipped to China to come from NVIDIA. There was absolutely no reaction to that, but still downside today. Negative on the day for most of the chips. This little one, Farfetch, FTCH up huge, 25% on a take private rumor that came out. You can clearly see where, about 1250 that came out. So we're back to 214, 220 again on rumors of possibly going private for FTCH. Just seeing more comments actually from NVIDIA's CFO at this UBS conference. SaaS business is approaching 1 billion within this quarter. So just be aware if you're looking at NVIDIA. Again, the CFO presenting at a UBS conference. Yeah, Tesla here, 3.8% standing out on the sector chart. Coming up in actually under now 48 hours. The first customer will have possession of a Cybertruck. So I was reading at lunchtime, it's going to start at 1 p.m. Eastern, and then 2 p.m. will be the first deliveries will happen. So coming up on Thursday for Tesla. Nice look heading into that today. Some of the other names of note here, some pharma stocks, healthcare-related stocks downside, Amazon downside 0.5% after a big day yesterday. NVIDIA, Broadcom, both under a little bit of pressure, AMD as well. I was just reading a note on Square as well, Block, obviously not in the S&P 500, but record payments processed by SQ on Cyber Monday. So a nice look for Block. Overall, not a bad day. I mean, we're back to flat, as I was mentioning. Waller, early on, had the markets in a bit of a rally after saying he's at least increasingly confident that they've done enough as far as the policy is concerned to get things back to 2%, as we all know they are so desperately trying to do, indicating that maybe, finally, they are officially done with interest rate hikes. I was also reading, it's been 18 weeks for anyone keeping score, 18 weeks since the last interest rate hike from the Fed. And it has only happened 5 times in the history of the market that they've gone 18 weeks on a pause and then come back and raised again. So you got to go back a long, long way. 1990 was the last time they actually did that. Paused for 18 weeks and then raised again. So most likely it's going to be the other direction going into 2024. But anyway, Frank Caberna coming up this afternoon. We'll get his take on some of these comments that we got today from not only Waller, but a whole bunch of Fed officials. If you're with us this morning, meanwhile, we were touching on a few interesting notes. Again, Farfetch here, still chopping around that 215 area, but Farfetch up on take private note if you're just joining. So heads up on that. PDD up today as well, huge on a nice report from them. So back to the upside today, guys, for a number of individual names, even when the overall market is basically flat.
Yeah, Randy's made the change, apparently, so Randy called it a bear, but now it's flat, so he's gone bull and bear to call it flat. But it's definitely not flat for Pinduoduo and the payment names. Not all of the retail names that were strong have remained strong, and we'll get into the difference between some of those. But PDD, it was 15% when we started the morning show. It's 18% now. It doesn't mean it provided an opportunity necessarily for the trade. If you heard the morning show, I was kind of expecting the gap up Chinese ADR fill in or at least break the low and go gap fill, and I was eyeballing 130 as a round number. I mean, the fact that it was just sort of 120 is resistance. So I figured, okay, 130 if it dips back in. I did not want to be buying highs on this, but PDD, look, they're continuing to win. The daily chart is gorgeous. You got to go pretty far back in to find resistance at 143 and 150 even for Pinduoduo. So a huge ramp upside for them. The name that I did trade in the space, and it's not really the space, it's just the other Chinese ADR, was one that's the polar opposite of this chart. What is the opposite of PDD's chart? Well, I guess any EV chart other than Tesla, but I'm kind of getting at NIO. So the Chinese name I traded was NIO off of $7, and it bounced off 7. I trailed out eventually at 7.20, waiting for that level a little bit. It's still showing some signs of strength. If this were to break out, maybe it's going to get off the schneid down that we bounced off 11. But I'll tell you this much, if it gets back to a 7 again, my gut reaction is the second time through, it's a short breaking 7 even. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Shout out to PDD and congratulations to anybody. Congratulations! In that name, they are winning and winning big relative to all of the other Chinese internet giants.
PDD, I didn't look at any Chinese names today. I was just looking at Tesla, and like I guess we got out a little too early. Took a 50-cent hit, which would now be a $9 winner. Nice move upside for Tesla. The one that's been the beast of the day, I mean, Affirm, we screwed it up early, but look at this, man. Now you're up in the money, almost $2 as Affirm continues to go on some of that Square news. And then, of course, we talked about Affirm and why we liked it, but it's still continuing. You're coming back here. We have some monsters on board. So we've got Intel on right now. We've got Microsoft on, both to the short side, printing as well. Intel, there we go, man. Ring the register again on this one as we've been short here on Intel. But yeah, going to be an interesting afternoon. We have Frank Caberna in about a half hour.
Yeah, lots of movement today, not only for, there we go, lots of movement not only for the dollar today, but yields back downside once again as well, so it'll be good to get his take on what this all means. I mean, Waller kind of kicked it off, but I mean, all of these Fed officials today kind of echoing that sentiment of they feel like they're there. Yeah. It's just a matter of letting it filter through the overall economy and market and get things back to where they need to be, hopefully, faster. We'll see. Meta is still positive here, but nice day anyways, 0.35 after starting the day downside on that. FTC note, if you're with us this morning, we touched on this, but I mean, it's been pretty quiet, really. The whole market kind of made that move back to positive territory and then just chilling here.
Yeah, they plan on appealing the ruling from the FTC earlier today. It was essentially what happened was Meta reached an agreement with the FTC back in 2019 for about $5 billion, and it essentially was because they were profiteering off children under the age of 18. They're coming back and saying that $5 billion is not enough, and the jurisdiction was up to the FTC, not the court, to uphold that $5 billion. They want to increase it to more, so we'll see what happens here. But $5 billion is not chump change, man.
Yeah, worth a note. I mean, it was interesting in the pre-market how it was setting up, but volume, it's worth noting, very, very low down here today, guys, for Meta.
Yeah, relative volume not good for Meta, but it was, I mean, the graphic's going to say Meta weak, but Meta actually strong today. Meta World Peace, I don't know what he's up to, but this Meta is definitely having a good day, especially relative to the market. It's above VWAP as the market's potentially failing 16,000. I came out this morning thinking short into the 335 half. That was the afternoon level yesterday where the short was on. And it got up there the first time. I missed that initial short right at 9:30. Here, I'll zoom in so you can see. Missed that initial short. When it came back up, thinking out loud, looked strong, higher lows, elected not to take it. Missed the first bounce, but then took the second higher low bounce. It was able to get 335 half. Last out was 336 and a half. I tried to reload a second time, got a little bit out inside of the range, 336, and then stopped it out. At that point, like, it broke VWAP. And I kind of gave up on it in some ways, and now you're holding back that same area off of VWAP. So if we do regain 16,000, Meta still looks like a pretty decent long here, kind of shrugging off that news a little bit. Yesterday was nasty. We eventually found out what the reason was. Shrugging off the news today, but remember, this was churning along on strength at 338 and a half when the fall started. So it hasn't really gotten all of that move back. If we do hold on to 16,000, which isn't looking very likely in my opinion at this point, then I want to see this one above VWAP for some longs. But I don't want to put longs on until I see a little bit of strength in the futures or we get to VWAP again on Meta.
I'm going to try to get some out here more at 381.03. We have Microsoft in here. It's 35 cents in the money. I haven't I've just gotten a bunch out here. It seems like it doesn't really want to go too much further than where we are right now, bouncing off 381 numerous times. So again, this is going to be something that we're going to have to look at coming through here for Softy. So hopefully we will be able to get a little bit of a push down through 381 on Microsoft. Intel, still a nice little move down. Meta, oh yeah. So we wrote down Meta on here, and the thing about it is, it's right where I liked it. I liked it at 336. So again, you know, despite where this stock opened up, we opened up down into here, 333. We said we really liked the 336 short. So we're in here right now. We're not in the short, but we're in the spot right here. And I don't know, I guess now it's 337. Like I said, I'm already short Intel. I'm already short Microsoft. We're long Amazon, 50 cents in the money, long Affirm, $2. It's just, I feel like you still want to wait for up here. And honestly, Meta is not, and again, if you're watching the sticky note here, it's not about, you know, we're giving the ideas and the levels, but once you get now to 2 o'clock, and you can sort of start to analyze what this market's doing, I would say Meta's not weak, right? I mean, obviously it's up 0.4%, 0.5% against a market that's flat. What is the ES? I think the ES should be up a little bit. No, flat as well. So, you know, kind of just hovering around right now. For me, it's going to be a pullback and probably a no trade here on Meta. I was still debating putting something near 37 right up here to see about a short. But again, I'm already in these shorts. I like Microsoft here where I got it, and I like Intel as well. So hopefully all of these names will make up for it. But yeah, good day so far here for Meta, kind of just holding fort. I thought it would have been big time red. I mean, from that move that happened yesterday in the afternoon again, just starting up here at 340, closing the day down here at 334, $6, pretty much straight down. A little bit of a bounce back, you know, near the end of the day, but then finishing the day on the lows, generally to me, would mean that you have a redder day coming through here today, and that's just not happening. So we could be wrong on Meta, which won't cost us anything. Unlike when we get to Affirm, we'll talk about that. That was an absolute monster trade that didn't go for us, but now is. So that's the thing. You got to sometimes reassess.
Nice move back in here for Boeing. Happened right at the open, in fact. It sold off into the open, then straight back to the upside. Another upgrade coming through for this one today. RBC Capital going to outperform, raising their price target to 275. That's hefty, all the way up here again, or here, I should say, for Boeing.
Yeah, it was a precarious morning for Boeing as Spirit Aerosystems was halted until I think about mid-morning or so. Yeah, you'll recall about 2 weeks ago, the Dubai Air Show had Airbus and Boeing in focus. Boeing getting decidedly more orders from carriers than Airbus. I believe it was mid-200s for Boeing, maybe 90 or so for Airbus. We'll see. Have to wait and see whether they can deliver. Demand has never really been an issue here, Brendo.
Yeah, it's been, I feel like a broken record, but it's been a pretty good month here for Boeing. November, that is 26, almost 27% to the upside.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get into the Spirit thing, but actually in the podcast, there was a really cool chart that we were talking about with regards to Boeing versus Airbus in particular. If you get a chance to listen to it, a lot of times you're going to get, like, it's an oligopoly, like they're the two names out there, but the gist of it would be they have a good correlation, but when there tends to be growth in the upward channels, Boeing outpaces it in market cap than what ends up happening with Airbus. So like when things get tight, once it starts breaking to the upside, Boeing starts to outpace Airbus, which is, you know, one of the things that I liked about Boeing. But it's been in a bit of a rut lately. Today was frustrating in that, like, the idea that I liked, and you have to be able to adjust, like Sean just sort of said. So it was breaking out on the daily. This is 222. You can see that. It had lots of room to go to the upside. It was gapping above previous resistance at 221.5. So my strategy was going to be, you know, get the dip. It holds that previous high and then look for the long. But then SPR halted and was halted all morning. Okay, not all morning, but was halted for a decent amount of that first opening rush. Boeing ended up falling during that halt. SPR opened back up and Boeing had already made the bounce up, so I just went back and got long 222 in front of 221.5. Now, obviously, there would have been an opportunity to trade if I liked to dip buy off the previous close price, which is where it bounced off of. But in that moment, SPR is halted, 4 news pending. Yes, it just turned out to be some executive changes, but you don't know what that news is going to be in that moment. And if you trade Boeing and it's something more serious, Well, you can find yourself pretty off base. It's right at the open. If it ends up being really bad news for SPR, then Boeing could easily move $5, $10 against you further. So we got the trade. It got back to the high, trailed out at 224. It ends up being successful. I think it could have been a heck of a lot better without what ended up happening with SPR. But you got to take what the market gives you, and that meant sitting it out until we saw SPR open back up and have the news disseminated. That's a bit of a Whenever a stock is halted, sometimes you can look to adjacent sympathy type names, and either you can get an idea off of them or you can back off of them, understanding that the risk will change while you await whatever the news story might be.
All right. Yeah, we didn't really look at Boeing today. Just quickly here, Microsoft, nice move down into 380. We got a piece out there at 385, so that was, again, 65 cents. And just looking, like, I don't know if this market's going to tank or not, but, like, really happy to get that out. And then, honestly, the next piece is down here at, like, 380.25 or so, in case we do get that drop. Intel also having a hard time right now. Look, like I said, the last time we traded Boeing was that $7 or $8 winner. There's the move there again from 220. Neil talked about that. Nice move back up to the upside. Right now hovering around VWAP. It looks like if we take down 222, then you do have some more downside to go through. But again, I haven't spent any time on it. It's kind of it's a nice stock. I mean, I own this stock. I have no idea what price I'm long at. Who knows? But Boeing, I like it. Like we mentioned there, whenever you're in this kind of a business, it's too hard to get involved in this. If you're in it, you're in it. If you're not, you're not. You got Airbus, you got Boeing. So I just say keep buying the dips on this name, and I feel like, you're going to have to go through some hard times, but I think this will be supported by the government as well. We did see when it dipped down sub $100, and it was Donald Trump at the time, and I just remember, they were talking about, helping it out if it got too much lower, and they may have even, I don't know, I can't remember, but anyways, I like Boeing. I think it's a good stock, and I do own it at some price. I don't know where.
Let's talk, the CNBC just talking about some retail names. We'll talk about a firm here. Jefferies with a nice note this morning and an upgrade price target hike to the tune of, yeah, you saw that, $9.50 to $30 here for, that's still Boeing, but AFRM having quite the month here, as we've been saying.
What a rocket ship this one was today on the midday show. Taking this, it's still going, guys. 32.08 highs. I'll let the big kahunas analyze the technicals there. But yeah, Jefferies analysts come out and saying the upgrade is based on recent evidence of stabilizing cost of capital and capital market activity, as stabilizing, if not improving, credit performance and ongoing momentum in the adoption rates of buy now, pay later. We saw that buy now, pay later companies did fantastic on Black Friday. It was up 18% year over year for new accounts, Brendo, for a firm.
Yeah, nice look anyways on the daily chart. Just be aware there's a few tiny little penny stocks flying around. ISUN is one of them. MRAI, another one that RDHL is still going from this morning as well. Playboy just popped up, PLBY, which is, yeah, a penny stock at this point. So a few little tiny ones moving around.
I actually didn't know that Playboy was a penny stock. Good to know. If you're watching yesterday, a firm was, if you looked at all of the retail type adjacent names, so that includes a firm, that includes the payment names, that includes Shopify, it was not that difficult in terms of a long setup. It was basically like a clean breakout trade yesterday. Today was not yesterday. Like, I came in today liking the long in a firm. It's just when yesterday happened, you didn't have to worry about it. You just sort of took the high day break, and like, you couldn't have lost if you took the breakout on a firm or if you were sitting in it at the open. Today was a different story because I was in it off the initial dip and rip at 30. It tried to break the high. I then stopped out there. I went for the play off of the 29 quarter area, got in on the dip, and then got back out. I waited for it to make a higher low and a consolidation higher. Once it confirmed that it wanted to be strong, got into that, and it ran my stop again. So essentially, I got one profit take there, but essentially went 0 for 3 on 3 longs. And as good as these names were, they carried the day for me yesterday. This will end up being my worst stock because I couldn't find the win on a firm, despite liking longs. Sometimes it's just going to be like that. You lose 3 times on this. At the end of the day, I'm more angry that I didn't keep on going for it, right? Like, you know, I don't mind. Like, you're going to take hits. Like, I had my stops there, what they are. But there was chances to maybe join the trend even higher, which sometimes you just got to do. Like, it gave you a chance there at 31 to still be in there again. So if I look back and when I go over the trades, and that's always what I always do it, I'm asking myself, why not go for it again on the next consolidation? You got to just move on to the next trade. Once it's clearing out, go to the next consolidation higher and don't worry about it. But when you're taking the hits in there, it's just like limit them the best you can. You're going to have outs, and if they stop and move on to the next trade. Mistake was not moving on to the next trade, which was, in this case, buy higher. That's just the reality. It was buy higher. Sometimes that's the answer. And you'll never be happy doing it. Let's be honest about that. If you end up getting stopped out at a lower price, you'll never be that happy buying higher if it's joining the trend even later. But it's still the right thing to do if the trade sets up for you, which it did, and I didn't take.
Yep. All right, well, we did exactly that. So we had it, we made a mistake, and then we just kept joining the trend. Exactly what Neil said, and that's the thing. You got to have these things in your toolbox, you know? So there's the break. And the thing is that it's just funny because I'm gonna look back, like Neil said, you know, look back at your trades. And honestly, for me, I already know what happened here. Affirm, $30.50. You know, why, I already wrote that down. You know, we already pegged that trade. Why am I going long here? Like, we talked about that all pre-market. I'm like, maybe it's a good thing we lowered our shares. We talked about that. But if we don't go until 30.50, then we don't go until here. Then we buy the dip, and the rest is history. We don't have any of this. So we stepped outside of our own research. Smart. And then when it dropped down, there's the 50-cent hit, but there's the bottom buy at 29 bucks. So if we just waited for 30.50, we still know, you know, what's good. And right there, it's $1.50 in the money. So look, I feel really great about this trade. It will be an L, but I really, really like this trade. I still think that we're there. We had it. We had it. We just unfortunately had it too early, and we went against ourselves. So, you know, we're still here. We still know what's going on with this stock. Love Affirm. It's $2 in the money. Just unfortunately, a little bit too early of a take there, which kind of does suck. But like Neil said, man, just keep sticking with it. There it is. There's the levels. We bought it off 30. We bought it off 30.50. So great trade. I know also Sharif had this as well. So far so good. It's $2 in the money. I don't have no ideas of selling this one. So let's go back over to the professor, the Affirm killer. It's Sharif.
Same angle for this one, Shopify, today, back to the upside as well. Nowhere near, obviously, as much as some of these other ones, but there was a downgrade today for Shopify after a couple of pretty impressive days. If you zoom out a little bit, yesterday, the most impressive, obviously, we're right back to essentially the middle of yesterday.
Yeah, the analyst here, Clark Jeffries, downgrading it from 58, or the price target, reducing it from 58 to 56. Not a big price target reduction there, but here's a thesis, Brendo. He says, while the company was clearly a commerce platform giant with over 2 million merchants driving more than $200 billion in gross merchandise value, the stock currently had what he quotes, an untenable valuation in our view. So he's cutting it down a notch, thinking it's a little rich.
I was making the point this morning that, and I still think it's a little crazy, but I mean, this company has office space all over this city, and they're still expanding and still taking on more. So, I mean, something's obviously working for them. Which
is completely counter to what I remember after the pandemic. They cut a bunch of heads. Yeah. They laid off, I think it was something like half of their workforce. Yeah. And yeah, so it looks like they're
I mean, they have one on King, they have one on Wellington, and now this new one down at Front and Spadina as well. So they're still expanding.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting about Shop? I was just sort of talking about how Affirm was very different from yesterday. Shop wasn't, which is like it's almost comical because could have just. If I look back, it's like if I had traded Shop instead, it did exactly the same the move you wanted. It pulled back early in the pre-market to the 71.50 level, which was the previous resistance. You can see right there, 71.5. Even on the daily, that's the previous resistance level on the daily. Pulled right into it in the pre-market, and it just stared up ever since. Now, it eventually got to 74, but if you just took the stairs up, you would have had to join it a little bit later. It gave you some support off 73 back into 74. Still no breakout yet, so it's mostly a consolidation day, despite the fact that it had a bit of a range, and it's not even green yet. So I think this has a chance to break it back out again, and you can see the upward trend that this has on the year. Just zooming back, so you can see the beginning of the year was in the 30s. It's been in a pretty big upward trend, but this last move is a wow move, because that's in 1 month you've gone from under 50 bucks into 75 with only consolidation. So I don't wonder if it isn't due a little bit of a pullback. Usually stocks in 75 level, maybe it is due for a pullback, but that 75 almost looks like a breakout when it gets there. Just nothing happening on it particularly today. I was gonna say this when we got to when I was talking about Meta. We don't have the chips on there. We don't even have any of the big cap tech, which is fine. But Apple, which I am in, apology for the wicks on the chart on that 15-minute, they're kind of wild. But Apple, I've been back and forth this 190 level a few times. It's had trouble breaking 189.75, and I wasn't scalping it, stopped out, got back in, decided let's scalp it instead. So scalp it in front of the 75, reload it in front of 90s, and then see if this one can hold underneath VWAP. Now it's up 0.06 into a market that's down 0.04. However, it's back battling the 190 on the south side. After that bond auction, it failed underneath VWAP. So I'm looking at it as bearish underneath VWAP at that 190 level, despite the fact that Apple is technically green. It's not technically green. It is green on the day. But I see it under VWAP and want to play it off that resistance.
All right, let's see if we get some more fills here on Intel as we go. Shopify? Yeah, Shopify is an exciting name. I've traded that a couple times before. I'm still watching out for Intel here to try to break lower. Affirm just went, honestly, guys, not $1, $2. I mean, I think this is probably the name here, $30 name. Nice upside move, now going up that 10 points. Great day for Affirm shareholders, for sure. Here's Shopify. Again, I sold some, I think I was telling you guys, couple weeks ago, or maybe even last week, in here when we were sort of topped out in and around this level. I think it was between 66 and 68. I don't think it would have been down here. It would have been more around here. So still, continuation, man. Great opportunity. We heard retail's really super hot. You just went through Cyber Monday. You just got all that going. So I like Shopify up here, and why not? I feel like it can hold the $70 mark, and we'll look at it when it gets around there. For me, I'm just going to trade it around key levels, and then today, broke through. Like, this would have been a great level there. 70, that's the split. 71 or 72, like right, 71.50, whatever you're sort of pulling out hairs at here at this point, but 71 to 72 bucks. I think I like that, and I also like a dip down into 70 until we break it. And then the problem is, once you break that, you probably head into this low 60 area. So for me, that's going to be a watch there for Shopify, but I'm more interested. I heard that story about Square earlier there. Wow, up, huge move. Still another name that I still do own. I mean, we were able to buy this one on the real cheap. Wow. Square was $40 a month ago, not even a month ago. Huge move to the upside. What is PayPal doing? I bought some more PayPal down here in mid-50s. Okay, so that's at least working out. That did dip down to 51, 52. I think we were waiting for it to break through 50. Right, that didn't happen. So we're in it somewhere around here, 54-ish off this bottom. So again, it's an averaged in position. We've been in PayPal forever. So hopefully that can continue to go back up to the upside as well. I kind of like all these buy now, pay later, not buy now, pay later, but some of these upstarts, PayPal, Squares. There's a lot of movement in these names. And again, it's about the new tech, the new finance, the new way. Upstart's more for small businesses and whatnot. And then, of course, Affirm is as a consumer base. So we'll wait to see here. Upstart still not really going up, though, as much as the... Yeah, it's still pretty good, but still from 20 to 25.
Yeah, compared to
Square was 40 to 65. Yeah. All right, let's go pay some bills.
All right, market's still hanging out here as we head towards 2:30. Guys, keep in mind at 2:45, we get Frank Caberna's going to come through and give us a take on what this means for the overall market as far as these Fed comments that we got today, the movement, as I said, in the dollar, and also some of the yields back to September levels. It's been a while, but yeah, rundown brought to you by our friends over at Trade Ideas. Take advantage. Still available, 25% off. TraderTv.live. Use that promo code. take advantage of their Black Friday sales. Shout out to our friends over at Trade Ideas.
So I'm going to answer you here, Tony Price. Oh, okay. I'm going to answer you about SoFi in a second because it's actually adjacent to the conversation we're just having because it's technically like fintech, that space. But Square gets the benefit sometimes of movement in Bitcoin, which this is a 15-minute chart over here, TradingView. Not that bad of a move today. So when you have this happen, you can get some of the crypto names, and maybe they can help explain why Block, Square, whatever, I call it Square, why it was so strong. So I'm in Rivian, and I'm going to get to SoFi as well for you there, Tony. But Rivian this morning, it was a short at the open. I didn't short it until it made its first consolidation. It bounced off yesterday's low, and I'll go to the 3 minutes just to show you. Like, I got out at VWAP off the reload, and wow, I wish I could tell you that I reversed it. I didn't. But it is consolidating higher. I'm in this consolidation. If it breaks 17, I'm out. I'm looking for the high of the day on this one. As far as SoFi goes, I got SoFi yesterday off the $7 break. That was pretty good. It then took out yesterday's high, got to 730. Tony Price, you're right. This is what I was meaning by the 730 level. That's where I thought we were headed yesterday, and it kind of fell like 10 cents short. Well, it's falling a little short right now. I want to reload this off the teens, just respecting yesterday's top and see if it can start scalping off of that level. But I just like SoFi's bounce off the bottom of the channel. Let's see if it can get back to at least the 200 period moving average on the daily, and then maybe push a little bit higher. It's been a short when it gets to the top of this channel, but that's not until $7.85 at this point. So SoFi with a pretty decent bounce. In the ideal thing for SoFi, we forget about playing in this channel. If it breaks the top of this channel, I'm going to want long above like $8. So, maybe it gets there, maybe it doesn't, but that's what I've been observing on SoFi. You kind of go long when it gets to the bottom of the channel, you short it when it gets to the top. If it ever breaks it, that is a pretty good setup. The market's again failing underneath 16K on the NASDAQ. When I say failing, I mean dropping like 10 handles, which is not much. I just scalped some out of Apple. If we're headed to the downside, I want to be in this. I don't know if we get free fall, but this 16,000, we're not really traveling too far away from it. If we were to take out some of those lows, there's room to run to the downside here. Just respect the fact that we haven't had huge range days in the futures. So going into this afternoon, temper your expectations, scalp some out, make sure that you're taking profit when you get that opportunity to, especially on the names that are they're likely to follow the market a little bit tighter, something like an Apple, or if it has a reason to be going extended, like a Firm would be, or like Square, or maybe Coinbase is right now. Haven't really checked it. That's a different story. But if you're trading something like Apple or trading something like Google, you're probably going to have to respect the scalp game around the 16,000.
Yeah, or trading something like Microsoft right now. So let's just do this because this is now. Oh, we can do this as well. As it's another dollar right here for this name. And, we'd be surprised, but we're not. A good name here coming through for us, Microsoft. Again, been playing short, so like none of this stuff happening right now is very much of a surprise to me. I did think that the short was going to be in. I'm a little disappointed that Intel isn't falling as much. And we just took some pieces out there, man. We took some more outs at 94, 95, and then some more outs here at 98 right now. So, yep, we did talk a little bit about that move there for Intel. So let's wait to see where it goes. Someone wanted me to talk about something. I don't remember what it was. Okay, well, I'll keep going until I find it. I'm looking at the chat right now. Oh, here's what it was. It was Pendar. What's up, Pendar? Right there. Do I like Coinbase? Okay, let's have a look quickly at Coinbase. Obviously, the big move up in BTC. I've been saying this whole time, buy Bitcoin and, oops, look, I type in BTC. We did talk about how much we liked Coinbase. Once we found out that, hey, maybe they're the only player that's going to be left in this exchange business. And I don't know. I mean, Coinbase does have, so the other thing that's happening with Coinbase too is, I know there are some retail platforms, I'm just sort of thinking about this now, there are some retail platforms that do accept Bitcoin and stuff like that, and you can do like a buy now with Coinbase, so that's something there for a business. But yeah, I mean, look at this move up. I mean, it's been an absolute monster. Anything above this $85 mark, I'm still not in this name. I was lucky enough to get out of this honestly almost near the highs. It was crazy on this one. But again, good bottom picking down there at 70. But I really like Bitcoin. So, I mean, we've been talking about that for a while. I came here on Halloween and told everyone to buy Bitcoin. And as you can see right now, this 110 area, I still feel like you'll drop back in. Look, this is going to be a story of different opinions. Like, so for example, buy Bitcoin at Halloween. Like, Halloween is down here. You're long Coinbase, $76. But the thing is that this is going to be very, very specific with news. You know, so one day you're going to get someone coming out, and Gensler or somebody going to say something about not liking the ETFs, or something about, I don't know, legislation, or Bitcoin is not properly funded, or something with some of those altcoins, or I don't know, Tether again. Who knows? But anyways, I feel like you're going to get an opportunity to buy some more of this Coinbase a little bit lower. Obviously, anybody can see that this is overextended over the last couple days. So let's just see. We've broken out. We've had basically 3 or 4 days in a row of what seems to be 5 or more percentage point moves in the last 4 days. So if you just compound that, you're up like 40% here in about a week. So I feel like it's way overextended, but if it's your cup of tea and you know you've done it and you really like Coinbase, then I'd say hold on. But if you're long anywhere sub 100 right now, I think it's overextended. And again, I've been taking profits on the way up, you know, during this sort of bull market. And I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that again right now on Coinbase. I didn't trade GME. I still feel silly that we didn't go long the minute that this story was brought to us by you guys in the chat. But again, that would have been down here around 1250, 1260. I remember looking at it, it was 1265. I'm like, guys, just go long. Obviously, it blasts up again, stops around there at 1350. So obviously those rumors, and I didn't do any due diligence on this to see what exactly GameStop was up to and what if Roaring Kitty was actually even out there or not. But that's going to be something to look at. And
somebody said that he hasn't really been doing anything on social media, which makes it skeptical that he would be. But
yeah.
Anyways,
look at this out. That's the thing. I don't think there's anything there. Look at this out here on Microsoft. We just got 380.50s. We got it live. We showed it as I was getting the fill. It was on the screen. So right there, man, in the last 5 minutes, Microsoft back up 75 cents. That's why I take the profits where they lie sometimes.
well, I was in GameStop once, and it should have been twice, actually, because I looked for the 13 level. That was the first resistance. Got in and out for about 5 cents, 5 cents worth of a hit, and then you see it right at that 13.50, pretty much on a dime. The next level up, and that's where you get that nice little pullback for GameStop. I tend to be skeptical. Like, it can still squeeze, and that's part of the game. But Coinbase, just to go back to Coinbase for a second, that is a 13% short flow. So some element, I'm not here to tell you like, oh, X percentage of this move is because it's squeezing to the upside. I don't really know. But some element of why Coinbase is up so strong is because of the squeeze effect. This is a weekly chart. I don't know what's going on with the yellow in there, but in the last 5 weeks, this is where you've almost doubled up, like the 71 into 128. There's technically room to 150 on this chart, but when you get that kind of a move, the last time it did this type of a move, this parabolic, it spent the next 5 weeks pulling back in, and that was about, what was that, like $40? So, you know, call it like 35%, let's just say. Like, it pulled back 35%, pretty steady the last time it made a move like this, and then found a consolidation. So it wouldn't be surprising at all if it were to do that kind of a move. Even in uptrends, pullbacks are healthy, and when you have a squeeze-ish type name, all the more likely that you can have a bit of an unwind. Because if you drive something by squeezing to the upside, typically speaking, it'll pull back a little more aggressively than something which was going up a little more, not fundamentally, but normally, like Microsoft is going up. The pullbacks aren't as extreme on those. I want to get to Palantir for a second, because this has a chance to maybe test that 20 level in the next couple of days. It's bounced. I'm slapping this on. Not because Palantir was on the radar this morning and it was a missed trade, but because when Palantir holds an even dollar level, it tends to be really good. And if you look at the last couple of sessions, going back to last week, wick underneath 19, double bottom at 19, bottom at 19 today. So it's putting in a higher low as long as it holds a 19.5. This looks like a good go zone. You got some highs from yesterday and some consolidation off this 19.5 level as well. So you go for that long. I don't know if it gets to 20 today. You're kind of running out of time. It's 240. But I do like the stair step up, bottoming off that 19. Like Palantir, it's been an upward channel. It just recently broke that 20 to try to go higher. This is the first sign of it putting in a higher low on that dip. So it's been pulling back the last week. You're now getting signs of it holding 19 and trying to go again. I could easily see it getting back into that 20, it's like a 22 high, 2190 or so in the next couple of days and weeks. First things first, look for a dip buy at that 19.5. I just reloaded on Apple, but the market just got strong. So the market back above 16,000 because Randy jinxed it. I just reloaded in front of 190 on Apple. Let's see if we get back into the low. But like I said, we just got to 16, 12 handles above the 16,000 level. It's a good thing Apple didn't get to VWAP on that move, but it was a decent push to the upside, which put some of the shorts at least in question. Got to get into this Palantir somehow. I don't want to chase it too far. It is the afternoon. But I don't even think we see VWAP at this point.
No, I'm going to say call me when Palantir's back down to 15, and we will be. Well, actually, we're not getting it.
I don't know if it gets to 15.
I think this market comes back in pretty soon, but we'll see. Right now, there's a reload right now, so let's go, man. Face slap a little bit here on Microsoft. As again, like this is a good trade. You know, we just went short 40s. It's down 20 cents now in the money. Some would take it, and that some would be roughly me. So I put a bid at 381.10. So if we can get something down here a little bit lower than that, we get something in the O's, then we'll take it. It just went down to 16 right there. So another one. Thank you so much, Randy, coming through. Yes, some meows there. All right, so he's one bull, one bear. Thank you so much.
At first, I was like, why the hell is he saying meow?
Yeah, who knows? He's Randy. But
Randy is...
Shout out to Matt in the chat
favorite,
who was explaining some of the stuff about GameStop there. So if anybody wants to hear that, what's up to Matt?
Look, Matt.
Matt Carnes there in the chat. Thank you for discussing that. If anybody wants to go have a look, you definitely should do that ASAP. Okay, so that's that. And then probably it's all over Twitter and stuff as well. Bitcoin spiking.
Yeah, it just broke. Bitcoin just broke the highs again. What's Mara doing?
I mean, we love Bitcoin. Here's Bitcoin right now. This is a 1 hour chart. Let's go to a 1 minuter. Yeah, you know what? For some reason on Yahoo, the 1 minute just shows a tick chart. Okay, but here he goes right now. It's not broken the highs yet, but it's pretty close to doing that.
I have it at...
We're about $300 off. Actually about a 1.
I have it breaking today's high.
What do you have? What price?
This is on Binance. I see it 38.4.
38.4. Okay, like I said, this is a 2 minute chart. So yeah. Anyways, yeah. So that would make sense. 38.250 right now. Yeah, probably maybe delayed. I don't know. Right now, but there it is. It shows the last tick at 244. So okay. Anyways, doesn't matter. Bitcoin starting to go as well. So if you are interested in anything Bitcoin related, probably and right on target there. You guys mentioned Coinbase, and just a couple seconds ago, it was like, what do you think about Coinbase? Well, there it goes. And you know, any good news on Bitcoin is definitely going to get this thing going. So yeah, I don't. Unfortunately, something up 7+%. You mentioned the shorts position of about 20 something.
No, Coinbase is 13.
Okay, so pretty low then.
I think it's Riot and Mara are the ones that are bigger.
Yes.
I think they're in the 20s. Let me just
Yeah, go ahead. Go double check.
Trade Ideas tells me 25% for Mara is the short float, so twice as big. But yeah, that's wild. This could still squeeze.
Coinbase just moved, yeah.
It's got some room to go. Mara's got
lots of hype.
On the daily, $14 is the level. Still has this 12.75 here on the daily chart for Mara. It's at 12.30, so this has room. This has room to go. It's trying to take out and hold these highs. So it just broke the top. Hey, if it gives you consolidation at the quarter level, I'll take a shot here.
Just quickly here, someone says we're ignoring them in the chat, so I'm going to find you. Where are you? What's up? There it is. What's up, Lolo? What up, Lolo? I like that. Go low, 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 low. But you want us to look at CLSK. So let's have a quick look at it. I mean, unfortunately, like I keep saying, guys, you know, I do have some shares, so it is going to be tougher for me sometimes to focus on some of these littler ones and just to take random positions. Not really down with that, but look at this. Huge move up, man. 350 CLSK today. This is clean spark. We've mentioned a little bit, you know, about some of these EV plays. You got to look at Plug Power as well, making some moves. Plug was down to like $4 or $5. There was the other one there. Not Plug. What's ChargePoint was another name. But if you're going to look at some support or resistance, which I think you always want to do when you say, zoom out, like when in doubt, zoom out. But $6, $7 looks pretty damn good for CleanSpark here. But it's a nice move up. It looks like you're trying to take out the day's high again. I would assume low that we do have a low or high actually. Short float. CLS. Oh, you looked it up?
8%.
CLSK. So not bad actually. It's 8%. It's not so bad. But it's this number that's the most important to me. So thank you so much, Lolo, for bringing this up. It's right here. It is earnings in 2 days.
Yeah, that's a big one.
So yeah, if there's anything, again, I can click on profile, which is another great thing about Trade Ideas. You can get the Trader TV right there. It'll explain what it does. Oh, is a Bitcoin what? Oh, I didn't know this. Okay. CleanSpark is a Bitcoin mining. See, here I go. I started talking about Plug Power. CleanSpark is a Bitcoin mining and energy technology company. Okay, so we're a little bit right with energy, but definitely a new way maybe of mining Bitcoin. So there goes CleanSpark. And again, thank you to Trade Ideas because I would have had no idea. I started talking about
well, that's what I would have thought.
ChargePoint.
Well, that's what I thought when
like
I saw the name.
CleanSpark, but anyways, now it makes more sense as Bitcoin continues to run.
But it also made sense
tomorrow.
the other way too.
Yeah, so anyways, that's what that is right now. It's CleanSpark. Good look on that one. Thank you for bringing it up. All right, the time has come.
Pump the market up.
No, we needed to go down. I'm short Intel and Microsoft here, and a firm's its own little beast here. But let's wait to see what happens with the market.
You never know with Frank.
You never know, but he's here. Let's go to the big desk with Frank and Brendo.
It might actually help stocks across the board, but good to see him as always. Frank Caberna back with us to give us a recap here of a lot of Fed speak, not only today, Frank, but coming up over the next couple of days that for the first time, and if you go back to the last time you and I spoke, we were mentioning, some of the comments, not only from Fed speakers in general, but Fed Chair Powell specifically, still hadn't really been about cutting rates. For the first time now, we're hearing more about that. We're there. We're at a sufficient enough interest rate to bring rates or inflation back to 2% overall. Yields at September levels, dollar back to July levels I saw this morning. Interesting as we head towards this PCE number this week.
Yeah, and it seems like the boys will have to watch rates for what they're hoping to get out of the stock market because, even watching the intraday action here today, looks like it's moving in lockstep, that stock market is, with interest rates or against interest rates as I don't think it's any coincidence, Brendan, that we're seeing this NASDAQ so close to all-time highs, and we're seeing 10-year yields continue to plummet closer and closer to 4%. Right now, hitting lows, to your point, not seen since September. This has been, like I say, coinciding with the crazy run we've seen in NASDAQ and the stock market at large over the course of the last couple of weeks here, which is, 10-year yields going from 5% to 4.75 to 4.5, and now down to 4.25. And if that doesn't hold, then that might be enough to get that stock market back to its highs, because I jumped on with you last week and we were at 4.5% yields, and we were about 5% away from all-time highs in the stock market. Now getting closer to 4.25% yields and eyeing that 4 even level that we haven't seen in months and months and months. And the stock market is 1 or 2 days worth of rallying away from all-time highs. And these moves, like I say, look to be in pretty close lockstep. And thankfully, yesterday was one of the most boring days in the stock market that I can remember. Was looking at the S&P 100 stocks, and there wasn't, I think there was one stock that had moved outside of 2% in one direction or the other. Thankfully, this organic price action we're getting from interest rates is creating some volatility in the stock market, some back and forth. And it looks like it's going to continue between all the speeches this week and of course the inflation to come on Thursday morning.
Yeah, I mean, some of that obviously due to the holiday and a little bit low volume around, stocks in general, but it's a great point. I wanted to get your take on, I was reading a really interesting article during the lunch hour today that mentioned the simple fact that it's been 18 weeks since the last rate hike from Fed Chair Powell. And there's only been 5 other times in history where they've had a rate hike cycle that had paused for up to 18 weeks, and then they resumed again with hikes. There's only been 5 times in history that that's happened. The last time was 1990, and they went 2 more times to the upside before finally pulling back a little bit. As I was saying, first time today that we've kind of heard some of these comments leaning more towards the we're done side of things. Now it's just a matter of letting things filter through the system.
Yeah, and it feels like the holdout that we've had here, Brendan, where stocks and everything were kind of put on pause for a lot of 2023 after a really nice start to the year. The stock market bounced back, the dollar market reversed lower to start the year. And then we were kind of in a sideways, paused range for a lot of this year. Was, I think, the exact point that you bring up here, which is they were getting to the tail end of their hikes because inflation was moving lower, but that sideways price action is inflation going to rear its head once again, like it did throughout the 80s and 90s, where inflation would rip and then interest rates would come up to meet it. Inflation would move a little bit lower, but then resurface, 6 months or a year later, and the Fed would have to raise again after that gapped period of time, which we haven't seen in recent decades. And now it feels like both the market and now the Fed, although we'll see what Powell says on Friday, is starting to think, I don't know what number it was in particular over the course of the last 3-4 weeks that we've seen this reversal of trends. But they are thinking that now that they're seeing CPI and PCE that we'll see on Thursday closer to 3%, at least closer to breaking into that 2-handle number that they want to see 2 even, obviously. Not necessarily on hold, waiting for another potential hike, as inflation looking like it's, knock on wood, not going to rise back up like it did in the 80s and 90s after it had come off. It looks like we're on a pretty set path to get to that 2% number in the coming months. And then, like you say, the Fed could start normalizing rates lower. The market's pricing in spring of next year. So obviously a lot of things have to go right for us to get there. We have to have Powell start to talk about it. We have to have, inflation not bounce back even to, the 4% number. I think that would take out a lot of what's been priced in the last couple of weeks to the stock market, interest rate market, US dollar market, and beyond. But yeah, it feels like we're on that inflection point right now. And if yields break 4% again, I think that you could see a lot of these markets, dollar really fall, and stock market potentially regain those all-time highs that we saw a couple of years ago.
Dollar really fall, and the dollar's already really fallen. So let's talk about it a little bit, because not only has the dollar back to July, as I was mentioning, but some of these other currencies, really the benefactors here, and just wild swings on higher time frame charts, obviously daily charts and above, even for not only things like the yen, as we've been discussing over the past couple of weeks, but the euro benefiting from this as well.
Yeah, starting to see this reversal across all the currencies, but specifically, of course, always going to go to that euro versus the dollar, as it is one of the most quoted, most traded markets in here. And yeah, today breaking above 110 for the first time in months here, and this will be really interesting to see if all of this stuff that we're talking about here is for real, or if it's another, short-term reversal is, will this market stay above 110 for more than a couple of weeks? Historically, as you can see, the last couple of years here have only been above 110 for a few weeks, not even a full month that we've traded above 110 and stayed there for that extended period. And so, yeah, it'll be really interesting to see, one, if it can hold that level, but then two, if it does build and build and build, do U.S. rates not only fall to close to 4% here, Brennan, but are they going to fall below UK, Euro area rates, Canadian rates, Australia, another one that is starting to really pick up steam against the US dollar, and a bit of that maybe a little resurgence in China, although still not so hot. But either way, it'll be really interesting to see if the dollar continues lower here, because it'll be a slippery slope. 110, when you widen out that lens, Brendan, is still fairly cheap for a market that in the long term, its average is closer to 125 than it is to parity, obviously.
Yeah, we were making the point the last time we had you on, talking a little bit about how this is going to unfold going into, as you said, spring of next year, the market pricing in some form of a cut. If we get that kind of flush through 4% and maybe even lower into the 3 handles, this is for being very presumptuous, obviously, but do we still see a very slow kind of unraveling of what the Fed has done on the way up here, instead of a more one-to-one move on the way back down?
It feels like they're pricing in increasingly higher chances of exactly that. Because, yeah, you would imagine if everyone's moving in lockstep lower, then why would the euro be gaining at all on the dollar here? But I think the idea was, Brendan, over the course of the last 2 years, all of these boats have risen on the tide of higher inflation, except for Japan, has risen these interest rates higher across the board. Now, the US dollar strength comes from the fact that that boat rose the highest. And if they all fall lower by an equal degree, then the dollar should stand to continue to gain theoretically. But I think the market is pricing in that relative strength that the US has built in over the course of the last 2 years could come out, and maybe they all come back to, let's say, 3% or 3.5%. And if the euro area interest rates come back to 3%, and the US interest rates come back to 3%, then theoretically you should see a euro dollar market closer to $1.25 versus them all falling by the same amount. That would bring, the US interest rate closer to 4% and euro area rates down to 3%, still maintaining that gap. But yeah, I mean, especially when you start to bring in the yen piece or the Australian dollar piece, those are markets that are still really close to historical lows versus the dollar. And if US rates continue to come back to where they are globally, then that dollar could see a substantial crash.
All right, I want to make sure we tee up this PCE number that's going to come through on Thursday, because that's kind of the next stop as far as inflation is concerned. I mean, we're down to 3. It's expected to be 3. Dare I say we see even maybe a 2-handle first on PCE over CPI?
Holy smokes. If we saw 2.9 even, Brendan, I think you would really see U.S. interest rates unravel and stocks climb closer to those all-time highs. Expectations are right now at 3% for the headline number, the core number at 3.5%. That's obviously been the stickier value in there. But keep in mind, we have gone back and forth a number of times, and this all sounds like one-sided information and price action. It's been a one-sided trade over the course of the last month. This can very quickly turn around. It takes 1 or 2 data points for interest rates to pick back up, stocks to move lower again. And PCE has been there with non-farm. I would say PCE has been the one, I guess, for lack of a better term, stick in the sand in this whole stock market party here. And so it would be this number to come in closer to 3.5% or higher that could cancel out a lot of the gains the stock market has seen recently, because this is a substantial drop off. I think the last headline number for PCE was in the mid threes, and the forecast now, market expecting 3 even. And so if they don't even get, 3.1 or 3.2, you could see a lot of reversal of what we've seen the last couple of weeks.
And I mean, the good part is we should find out a lot more about where we're at by the end of the week, not only from some of these speakers still to come, as we said, but this data as well. I mean, there's another GDP reading to come in the next couple of days as well. Not necessarily that significant, but we'll keep an eye out for this PCE print coming up on Thursday. Frank Caberna is Director of Strategy over at IG.com in Chicago. Appreciate the time, as always.
Thanks so much, Brennan.
The director himself. Now the good thing is, well, if you're a short, depending on what you were short, like it did move the market a little bit. We just went 0.07 green on the NASDAQ, very barely breaking out of this little range. I got out of Apple when it broke the 190 area, but then it did this little double tap of, it's like 190.10, held that level, consolidation under. I re-entered the trade because the market held 16,000 and kind of showed a little bit of strength, but we didn't even get to VWAP. So you still fail underneath VWAP. That's good enough for me. While that was happening, I'll get to Mar in a quick second. Rivian did slowly break out of the channel. This consolidation higher had been going on for a while. Needed to get back to the high of the day, but first step, good, it broke out. Now it's trying to get back into that high of the day. Mar, a couple of trades in Mar while Frank was on. I got the initial dip into 25 and then got some out at 30. It then broke underneath 25. Wicked underneath, I reloaded it with the same stops with scalp trade, then a re-entry. But I'm still going to get out underneath this wick bottom. You did stall out that move on Bitcoin a bit. So while it got to a fresh top, it is stalling out and pressing back into 38,000. So I'm going to get out this move if it breaks that 20 level. But the re-entry opportunity on the shorts, I think, was kind of the jam there while Frank was talking, depending on what you're looking at. Right, like the NASDAQ still looking pretty strong. But I got out and just jumped right back in when we showed some signs of said weakness.
I was just looking at the futures here. I mean, we've averaged in. I mean, now it's good. Now we're 20 cents in the money on Microsoft here as we took some more shorts. Okay. I mean, honestly, now that I see like where this is starting to head to the downside a little bit, I don't know if we should take. Did I just get some out? Okay. Like, let's just freaking go, man. Honestly. Like, we're still here. It's just the market has to move for us. Like, there it is. I mean, that's just another 30 cents. I mean, all you're really doing is this. Like, you're just trying to stack up right now. That's why I started this conversation, sort of, before I saw Microsoft going to the money. And I just had to make sure I had a bid there, which I do. My next bid is at O's. But again, like, this is what's happening. So when the market does flush a little bit like that, you sort of got to hit it. There it is. What's up right now? DJ Dubsy. Look, man, this is exactly what we're talking about. This is why you are, hopefully, and continuously part of the community. So let's spin it for you. There it is. You just hit your first dollar club. Great job on that one, man. I remember that feeling when I hit my first dollar club 22 years ago. Right there. I usually punch out early. Crocs. Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to do better myself as well. So, I mean, it's all about trying to hold out, watching your position. So let's talk about it. So 99.66 Crocs. All right, wow, I didn't realize Crocs was $100. Let's go have a quick look and see what you did to be exact.
I think they upgraded today.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Any of these upgrades, like, I wonder why it's CORX when they, like, why didn't they get the C? The name is C. But okay, so there it is, man. Yes, sir. Hopefully, did he take it? Off my favorite indicator, it's VWAP right there. So nice little move to VWAP, probably what you got, and a great hold. I mean, it rode the 50 period all the way up. If you're still in it, I mean, technically you could still be in this. Right now, it did not break the 50 period moving average. Hey, man, but real trading sees real, and I know how tough it is that if you have shares and it rips up like this and it starts to barcode, you basically for me anyways, that's like an instant out. So I can see why you got out there 70s, especially if you thought it was going to break a little bit lower. But great, fantastic trade. And if you're in this, there it is. There's the break long. So into this consolidation, I mean, honestly, Croc looks fantastic. And this is what I mean. Like, I thought when you said $100, I was like, huh? Because this is what I remember, down into here, 80s, but it doesn't matter. I mean, the market's nicely up. Is there a short float or not on CROX?
It has to be.
I would say, oops, CROX. You know, with the Z beside the X, yeah, 9%, 10%. So nice little level there. Let's see if it continues to go. I mean, again, I assume that you're day trading there, DJ Dubs right there. So
maybe you are J trading.
Good job. Maybe you are J trading. Find that J pattern, of course.
Well,
and then there he goes. Oh, man,
kinda messed
Michael
up the
Lloyd
output.
hits it right there. You know, I've lost, I think, 4,000 points. Let's do it again. Spin 400.
4,000.
I think I've done at least 10 spins today.
You know
lost
what? It
every
was
time.
really hot last week, and this week I feel like
I don't know. I feel like I saw some wins today. You never see, there it is. There's another 400 gone. I feel like there's been some back-to-back winners there. Oh, got out. Okay, good trade there, DJ Dubsy there. So good job. Again, like the trade, and congratulations for making it. Those are hard trades to make.
you showed the short flow was like 10%, right?
Yeah, 989 or whatever.
And I'm pretty sure when we did the upgrade downgrade board, it might have been that was the catalyst. I don't know when did they just report? What do I feel like? Oh, never mind. They reported at the beginning of the month.
Rock?
You know what? That explains the move. There it is. It did that wipeout bottom pattern, like wipeout bottom on earnings, higher low, and then jam to the upside. It's been rough for them, but yeah, coming back to life. I wonder if this can hold $100. It could get interesting as well. Apparently, I think I just hit a spin.
You did. You got 10 times there.
Boom.
You did 250, so good.
It's what's crazy about it is I basically only ever do it when I see other people do it. So like which is it's more or less the most degenerate thing you can do. But we just do it for fun, everybody. Coming back over to the market, it just made another test of 16.25 and started pulling back. There was a little buying step back into this 189.80 area on Apple. So I'm going to go for the shorts just above 190 and then start scalping it out. It's a pretty tight range, so we're going to continue to work it. Mara is now starting to barcode, which is, okay. For crypto to be moving, this might be running out of steam. I like the notion if it starts taking out the highs, 20% short float, lots of room to run, but it's showing some signs of dying down. So I'm going to stop out underneath that 20 and just respect that. I'll accept that duel if it's still time to do so. Fair enough. And then Rivian was the other name. Rivian just got back into the highs of the day, 17.25. If it pulls back in, I'll go for the reload underneath 17.10. I started the long at 6s. I added at 11s, and on the way up, my average price was 8, but we go kind of first in, first out kind of deal. So my average price was 8. I'll try to reload around there if Rivian wants to get back. This was a ridiculous reversal in Rivian. I really wish I could tell you that I was bullish on this stuff, because when it took VWAP, it didn't even look back. I don't know what, I mean, okay, the only explanation I can give is it's been beaten up for a while and Tesla went ham. So like that's my level of why this happened in Rivian, but wow, it got really strong. I joined it a little bit late, but it's better than not coming back in. Oh, I didn't type accept. That's my bad. So Rivian, maybe this is Rivian trying to make this bottom. If this can get back above the 50 and the 200 period moving averages, which would be about 18 and then 18.5, some serious room for this to get back to the upside. A lot of EV names have been falling for a while. This one didn't make a fresh low. It managed just to hold this 15 level. That'd be a good start for it. They have a good chance to start really bouncing here. Just need to see an actual consolidation breakout. Making a low was a good start. Breaking out some levels is what you want to see. Like, look what the crypto names are doing. They're breaking out some levels. All those beat up, buy now, pay later, fintech names, they're breaking out some levels. The EV names, Sans Tesla, obviously, and Li Auto, I suppose, have some work to do. Rivian's getting it started today.
Look, join me tonight as we'll go over. I'm going to go over. I have a new segment. It's called "What Has Sean Tweeted." So we're going to find out some cool tweets that we do find. I'm going to thank Adara for some of them as well. This is a pretty interesting one, and I did talk about this earlier on when we had Randy on there, when we talked about some of the companies that were at, I have to go find it right now, some of the companies that were at or near all-time highs. And it's basically like not Tesla. There's pretty much all of the Mag 7s are either at 52-week or all-time highs, and it's not going to be Tesla. How about this thing that I tweeted out? Go find it. Anything kind of fun, we're going to tweet this out. Look at Microsoft's Q1 2024 EBIT. Okay, so not EBITDA. Okay, not before interest and taxes. That's what we have there, not depreciation. But anyways, this is what they're expecting. Their EBITDA,
Tight.
EBIT, sorry, 27 billion. Okay? You can add up in here, and these are not small-ass companies. NVIDIA, I can't read it, I'll try to make it bigger, but Costco, ASML, Netflix, Tesla, Salesforce, Adobe, doesn't even equal Microsoft. So definitely, man, this is making a lot of cash. Here's our guy right here doing some dances as you go with a nice little clap out for Microsoft shareholders. Obviously, that is Bill Gates as we continue to see him clapping out there. But nice move up there for Softy. And again, just congratulations. Anybody that's been holding that name in their own portfolio.
Forever.
As I just double checked it. Yeah, I first started buying Microsoft at $33 or something like that. So it's fantastic where it is. It was Deadsville for a while. But now back to life is Sir Softy. And again, this is my #1 holding. And I actually double checked it. Them and Google are sort of neck to neck right now. So, and honestly, I've been selling some on the way up, not of Microsoft, but you guys know I did get out of some NVIDIA upside as well. And actually, it's not looking as bad anymore. It was like 467 or something like that. It was looking bad when we were up here at $5 of course. But you know, to give up 5% on a name when you just want to get a little bit more liquid, I think that's okay. So nice move there. We did sell some Shopify. And then you guys want to talk a little bit about Intel. Look, I have a position on Intel. I like the stock short, but you know, the market has to go. So if the market doesn't go, then whatever. I am bidding more rate. I mean, this sucks, honestly, to be short at 10s like we are. What does it show? I think it's going to show me, yeah, 10's good because it's 9.8, so we're short at 10s. To get something out at 5 sucks. I understand that, but we've been bouncing off of 5 cents now for 30 minutes. So if it fills me there, great, and then we do have more bids lower, then we'll see about that. And then honestly, man, Microsoft, what? Where's my next offer?
By the way.
What happened to WeWork, you said?
No, Disney.
Oh yeah, Disney. That's another pretty ugly name there. I don't.
It wasn't going well by the time we got to lunchtime, but things took a right turn.
Did someone go woke and go broke there? Because there goes Disney all the way down to the downside.
Well, you've probably never heard of the movie that just came out because it flopped. It was called Wish. I don't know. I kind of thought the trailer looked good. I showed the trailer to my daughter. I'm like, do you want to watch this? She said no. So maybe it isn't that. Maybe it wasn't that good. But Disney. Wow, it's bouncing off the lows now, but this is not great. This was a strong stock consolidating for what looked all the world to be a secondary push to 100 off the 94. You've now taken out that 94 as it continues. That's a flat bottom break underneath this consolidation. I don't wonder if there isn't a short to pop available here before the close. I just need to find a level to work off of. Yikes, Disney. Can't it just like even when it starts to get going, it's just something. Reverts. It felt like we were going to make another leg to the upside.
This firm is now not 1, not 2, but $3 now in the money. I mean, this is an absolute monster. I am just like astonished by this. And it's just so, honestly, this could have been probably the biggest month or the biggest day for me all month. It's just we didn't follow our own rules, and when you break them, this is unfortunately what happens. And that is that not getting a little too excited there and not waiting for the level that we ourselves posted of 30. At least if you took it, you're in the money now. $3 or almost $3, $30.50. I mean, it's just sorry, $2.30 you'd be in the money now. I'm longer because we have a 29 fill right there. Hold on a second. I'm just hearing something. So Bob Iger is denying asset sales apparently earlier on in the day. So that's what started that. They are not trying to sell off some of their assets,
Well,
which I
let's not
guess
short the pops.
is something there. No, I think shorting the pops is like they're not selling the assets. So I think shorting the pops is a good idea. They should
Brendan
be,
said something about a possible strike
oh, okay.
for animators.
They should be selling every single pop, in my opinion. If they're not selling Disney, or if they're not selling ABC, maybe that buyer's gone. I know that was an initial spike when they talked about selling it, but if they're not going to do that, I feel like they're really good. Piece is going to be ESPN because of all the sports, but they need to get a deal done to get sort of maybe the exclusive rights to something, because we've seen Apple step into MLS, and I think it's F1 is Apple too, right, Brendo, or something? F1 has a deal with somebody as they go. Netflix trying to step into the space. Amazon, obviously, with Thursday Night Football, and what a win it was for Amazon, man. Now they forever have their own game, and it's going to be the Black Friday game. They're going to have that forever now. So, I mean, what an amazing move by them to sort of grab that name and grab that day and not worry about, not having Thursday night there on Thanksgiving. So that Black Friday game, although it was a pretty shitty game, I guess it was Jets.
Well,
it was Miami.
It was,
so at least they had Miami.
People like watching Miami.
Yeah, the minute you have Tim Boyle
the game wasn't necessarily the best game in the world, but it was... No. I guarantee it was pretty heavily watched. And think about it. The best part, everybody's watching that one game, right? It's like it's
the only one thing on.
Anyone actually working on that day at that particular time? I suppose some people.
It is Disney and F1. Oh, it's Disney. Is it Disney and F1? Okay.
Yeah, well, Disney. That's a good deal for them.
Yeah, that's exactly the kind of stuff I'm talking about. So thanks there. If that's true, that was from Dan McIsaac. I don't know. Microsoft just dipped down. Like, again, I thought, where am I bidding on this, man? 20s. Okay, we're bidding 20s on Microsoft, so we did miss that. Okay, come on. Honestly, 2 cents. Hopefully Microsoft will just get that little marketable order down and give us a fill there at 20. We're just trying to take 25 cents. And again, this is just on 10% that we have on right now. Hopefully a bigger push. I am bidding 301. Like, see, when I see this, and this goes back to that DL Dubs there, DJ Dubs, because honestly, it's like when I start seeing this crap and then it breaks higher, what I wind up doing is I get out at 25 instead of 20. There we go. Finally. All right, so we'll slap our face around a little bit. So there it goes. Nice move down in. And here we go, man. There goes Softy. A great trade today. By far the number one P&L stock. Here comes Microsoft to the downside, trying to make some more money here. So we're bidding 381 flat. Maybe we're bidding 01s. Let's see if that comes back into that. And then we'll see if we get another bottom pick here. I mean, Microsoft, look how smooth this has been, man. All these shorts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shorts, all pay dirt. This is why it's the number one name here. Microsoft continues to make that move down to the downside. I'm trying to make Intel, not trying to make it do anything, but trying to hold this, thinking for a downside move. We're now an amazing 6 cents in the money here on Intel.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can't make something happen. You've just got to join it and take the profits where they lie. That's what it's all about. Now, I'm going to preface this, which we say this every single time. There's a lot of people asking about Nat Gas. I don't trade Nat Gas. I don't own Nat Gas. But I just saw in the chat, do you think Nat Gas is making a bottom? Like Matt Carnes, bottom on UNG finally. And my entire preface to, generally speaking, trading is, I don't, like, if there's a level that it's showing me a bounce, then okay, then I'll trade that level. But if the stock in a downward trend just made a fresh low, and I don't see anything to give me a reason as to why it's making a bottom, then I can't, like, I don't know what would convince you that this is making, it just trended down a little bit more. Again, if you look at it today, okay, fine. If you're talking about a day trade, it just bounced 3 cents off 550. So if you're talking about that, that doesn't look like a ridiculously bad setup, risking 3 cents. But I don't trade Nat Gas, so I'm not going to make that play. The trend on the daily chart more or less speaks for itself. Let a stock make a bottom and then break something out before you have to do anything with it. I'm not necessarily for catching falling knives. And again, I don't really trade commodities. I've heard this referred to by many people, especially people on this chat, as Nat Gas being the widowmaker. So with a name like that, would you want to be against the trend? If it's called the widowmaker, I guess it's great if you can catch a bottom on it. I don't disagree that when you catch a bottom, something like that, it's probably fantastic. Mara just got back, tagged the high, double topping this 1235, actually 1236. If we pull back in here, I might go for a reload in the mid-20s again. It's getting a little top heavy, and Bitcoin is, as I said, kind of it pulled right back off of some of those highs of the 15-minute chart, and you're getting some consolidation. If the next leg is to the downside, it could be a big one. That was a big move up for BTC today, and I want to respect how big that move is. If it starts to sell back off, you don't need to be fighting something at the high of the day. Only have the one short in Apple, but it is continuing to push back into the downside. 16,000, we keep saying it over and over again. 16,000 needs to break and actually show sellers underneath it to hold beneath. Every single time we break it, it's a wick bottom, and then we just reestablish above 16,000. So with 40 minutes left to go till the close, the question becomes, do we hold on to it this time? I've been thinking, I almost feel like felt the same thing yesterday, and we didn't really get that kind of a push to the downside when we pull back in there. But I've been feeling like, okay, well, if we're not going to break any higher off these levels on the Qs, every time we fail 16,000, is this the time we make a real pullback? So you're scalping it now. The question is, do we get the follow through?
Yeah, we're hoping we get it right now. There's Microsoft right now, so let's go. There it is, man. 7 reloads up here on Microsoft, only to be sitting now in a 50-cent winner. But let's see if it does eventually take the seat. Just bounce off. A good thing we got to fill. Just bounces off 381 again, right there to the downside. And we're still getting more fills on Intel, as that's broken lower as well. And then, honestly, just trying to think about Uber here. I don't want to go short, but I would love to go long on this name. I want to say a big shout out to, oh shoot, was it Dan McIsaac there in the chat? I should have actually talked about this. It sucks because I wish we had more. By the way, Microsoft right now. Awesome. Right there. So some nice, awesome trades there for Microsoft. Now 70 cents in the money, and there's the tank, and there's what it's all about. My guy Patrick isn't here, else he'd probably have this. There goes Microsoft. Nice move to the downside finally. And again, there it is, baby. So let's go, man. Microsoft making some money moves right now to the downside. So bang, there it is right now. Awesome. There it is. Shout out to Professor who showed me you can do that. There it is. A nice move down now, 60 cents. Affirm still.
Oh my God.
Nicely done on Affirm as that's starting to pull back a little bit. I'm going to use this 50 period as my out, so let's do this together. If you're in this with me, it's a sticky note trade that is now almost $3 in the money. So let's do this. All right, let's put out our stop. If we break below wherever it is now, obviously the 50 period is going to keep on trending higher. 32.54, so 32 spot 54. Right now, we will get out of that. Push enter, and that's that. So Affirm cannot be less than a $2.30 winner. So that's what that is right now. And let's just see if Intel, oh, wow, okay. So we got a 98 fill there. Intel also breaks it. Wow, if this is not the afternoon for this guy, then I don't know what afternoon is. We had a lot of good winners on right now. We'll be happy to get out of Affirm. Microsoft really pumping to the low side. Hopefully that will continue as again, we take some outs, and there it comes back in. So yeah, man, all is good. All we're doing is stacking up on some of these names. Let's see where we wind up here. As the market still, honestly, it's still not doing anything, but this is why it's all about the names that you trade. There can be no better example of that than even right now. As we sit here in these plays, take this 6 or 7 times against the 200 period. Good trading coming through there. Amazon trying to break lower though.
I think a lot's trying to break lower. I just got out of all the longs that were sort of pulling back in here. Mara hasn't happened just yet, but quickly, SoFi got to the high of the day, broke back underneath its recent consolidation, so we jammed out of that one. And again, they could still go, but this market looks pretty heavy. Hit enter again for Rivian. Rivian came right back in, took out its local consolidation level. It got to the high of the day, had the long in there. I'm out of it. If it wants to bounce off 17 even, I wanted to get out break even. Then if it holds a low, fine. Let's see it hold a low, and then I can jump back in. But I jammed out break even. Mara hasn't really broken the quarter yet, but it seems like it's just a matter of time before it does. The other thing I wanted to get to was Meta. Meta's okay, so the market looks a little bit weak. Meta's still kind of strong here. So if there's going to be something, we hold 16,000. I just got out of most of the longs I had. Meta's the only thing, okay, not the only thing, it's one of the only things that is holding above the resistance points from this morning. And it just put that in its support as 336.5. So I feel like if we hang on to 16,000, we got 25 minutes left to go till the imbalances. Meta is the strong one, at least in terms of, in terms of the big cap tech names. I haven't really looked at Google today, so I can't tell you what Google's doing, but Meta's certainly still looking a little bit strong. If I take a long, it's got to be off 336.50, but I need to see it bounce right here, right now, for any kind of push to the upside. The shorts are what are ruling the afternoon, not the day, but the afternoon.
Yeah. All right. So we've closed that Affirm trade, by the way. So we'll go. I mean, obviously we get the price that we wanted. We get 54s. It does break, but still hovering around. And it's just, if you don't take the outs, then yeah, there you go, Frank Jones. I mean, that's exactly what it's all about, man. Patience pays off. So unfortunately, we didn't have much with patience with the firm earlier, but we will end, and just tweet it out right now, we will end this trade. I mean, look at this. This is, buy. Nice move to the upside. Held it. You never ever hold enough, but that is what it is. Right there. Did we get another bid down here or not? No. So I am bidding 66s now for Microsoft. We just touched 73, 74. I was thinking about something in here, so that's like 62, 63. So I just upped it a little bit, kind of a random price here on Microsoft. I mean, this is what, you got to pick random prices at some point because I'm just trying to get out right now and just looking for support. So again, it's not random, it's at this level. So, like I was saying before, when this dipped down, we were sitting there at 50 flat or 52 or 53, 52s, and got this fill. So we'll sit here again at 66 and see if we can indeed get that. And same thing happened to us there on Intel. That was a good out, man. And what part of the strategy that I do is, when we break those levels, for me, it's like I'm thinking that there's going to be, and it wasn't a huge volume situation there, but sometimes you'll get a flush because it breaks 44. So weekends like mine sometimes will punch out when a level is breached like that, right? And so a lot of the time you will get some flow down into these levels, and it was only 98s. Like, take the difference between O's and 98s. At the end of the day, 2 cents times your shares will make a difference over the month. But, on a daily, it's probably not that big of a deal. But I like that fill down there at 98, so that is a good one. Today, I have 140 or 150 fills with Tide. Tide, actually, Affirm is my number one on fills, 30, 36. We have 33 fills here on Intel, and then 32 fills on Microsoft, which I've told you is the number one stock here. So, so far so good. Let's see if Microsoft can dump down just a little bit more. And hey, man, if you're enjoying the show, make sure you at least do this.
Hola, like and subscribe today. Yeah,
and then join me afterwards as well. We did a like and subscribe thing for the after show, but that was over 3 months ago. Hey, what's up, Fabian? How you doing, man? How are those snacks coming through there? Anyways, lunch. Yeah, lunch.
Extras, probably.
Of course. So shout out to everybody who wants to join tonight. It should be a fun one. We have Brian Shannon again, and we have earnings from CrowdStrike and Intuit. So some big companies coming through. He hit a $30 winner for you guys last time. Let's see what happens here tonight.
Yeah, just a correction, because I said maybe Marvell. Marvell's the 30th. So Marvell is this week, but just, yeah, I checked it, but didn't mention it to you guys. The last of the chip names, at least the ones that I care about. I'm sure there's something else that might be reporting this week, but the last of the chip names. I'm going to get out here. They had a wick bottom on Apple. It's about to trail me out. Actually threw the trail at 189.80. Here's the wick bottom underneath what has been the support level at 65 this entire afternoon. Wick bottom and then a little bit of green. If it breaks back out, we'll let it get back into VWAP for a reload. Otherwise, take the profit run. I thought we could have flushed down into some of the lows of the day. If it happens, great. If not, I'm getting out in just a couple of prints there. There we go. There's the out. You can see, like, once it ticked above that local level, I'm out and looking for it to get back into 190 on Apple. It was Meta. We're back above that 16,000. That's Meta. But Meta already highs of the day here. It's a super strong one. And yes, I will correct myself when I said this is the strongest of the big cap tech names. Obviously, Tesla's having a bigger day. I just internally never really, I always group Tesla with EVs in my head. Tesla absolutely 100% is one of the Mag 7. Yes, it is one of the, it is a tech name. I agree, it's a tech name. So you can say Tesla #1 and give Meta its #2 for today. But yeah, Tesla has been the strong one as well. Oh,
yeah, Tesla's easy. I mean, Meta's barely up, isn't it?
I know. My point, it's just me. Like I know Tesla deserves to be with the big cap tech names. I just tend to lump it in with the EV names instead, right? So most people make a different distinction. I'm just used to it not being. We've been trading it for so long when it wasn't considered one of the biggest cap tech names. So, you know, it's one of those adjustments you have to make. I do want to go back over to MAR. It's the only thing we have left, and it's still barcoding. This is not, it's not doing much. I thought this had a chance to break the high and go squeezing. Now I'm not seeing that happen at all. And for anybody, JB, this is a good question. Actually, because I've said this like a few times to Brendan in the mornings. Do you know how long until Mullen gets removed? They are non-compliant. There are a few companies that have been under $1 for a really, really long time that I'm not sure how they managed to pull it off. But, you know, Mullen, maybe they split again? I don't know. It's back down to 16 cents. It'd be interesting if it can bounce off that 10-cent level again. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. I'm curious, like how many times can they actually split this stock to remain compliant before you just can't do it anymore? But that's, I don't know, like it's just nasty. When a stock reverse splits, generally speaking, this is what happens. The fact that this is happening over and over again it's not comical because I think there's people that get trapped in this. But yeah, back to 10 cents it looks like. When it gets to 10, last time there was a big bid and you had a decent scalp trade off of it. If it gets to 10 cents again, holler at me. Why not? For a trade, I'd never own the stock.
Oh, man. Here's another example of just missing the level. You know, like there's Microsoft. You know how far it went down to 73s, you know, and now it's back up over 05. So this is why, if you guys are always wondering like why I'm going crazy about hitting certain prices, and shout out to my wife who already knows I'm crazy, and hopefully you guys do as well now. It's just like this is part of it, right? And it's like these things can drive me crazy and mad. And that's what I feel like has just happened. I put the bid now down here at 380.80 to see if we can get that fill down there. So Brendan just brought it to us. It's 107 million to sell. So let's have a quick look at some of these brokers. That's funny. I was explaining to everybody at hockey the other day about the difference between YUM and YUMC, and I thought this was YUM, but this is YMM, so it's not that. Not much on here. As you can see, this is why maybe, potentially, it added up to such a small number of 107 million right there. There's not much on here at all. So BAC, 400,000 to sell. You know, Carnival's a nice bid. Carnival's been pretty hot lately, but I think it's been pulling back a little bit. Nah, not really. Nice move for Carnival, still hanging out around 15. Yeah, I thought it was the $16 level on that kind of a break. That might be something. There's Palantir again. I was saying that I really think Palantir can get back into this level, 15 or 16. So I think that's where I really want to start to buy some of that name if it does get back in. But right now, these are the market on closing balances, and they will definitely affect the closing prices. So we're going to have to be patient and wait to see if anything gets updated. But on a day where the market is honestly, hold my beer, literally, it's up zeros right now.
Like yesterday.
You have to be careful, you know, where you think these closing trades are going to come through and what kind of effect they're going to have. I don't see it as being a big one today, but you never know. Not huge earnings coming after market. I don't think we have an earnings board, but I can just show this to you right here. It was PDD earlier today with 174 billion as a market cap. That was before market open, and in here, I just use Market Chameleon. We also do put out not an economic calendar, but often we'll have something like that to show you. And then I don't know if we tweet it out or not, but we probably should. That's a good idea.
They released early.
There it is. Yeah. So after market close is into it right there. Huge stock, man. 157 billion. So let's watch out for that. Micron, they're noting guidance that happened at 9. Workday used to be a big stock. That's going to come into play there. And then there's CrowdStrike and then Bank of Nova Scotia. So I don't know if some of the Canadian banks have reported yet, but if not, there's some of them are happening right now. Bank of Nova Scotia, and we'll find out more about the Canadian situation. But there's CrowdStrike as well. CrowdStrike was just at 52-week highs, right? And so that's going to be something to look at for sure with CRWD.
You know, I saw Splunk there.
That's a mistake because Splunk got bought out.
Yeah, I'm like, that doesn't even, I was about to say, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. But CrowdStrike is the interesting one because you saw what happened with Zscaler. Actually, you know what? You shouldn't just say Zscaler. We saw what happened with PanW, and we saw what happened with Zscaler, where you were just at those big, you were at some big highs, and you got a pullback. I mean, there was a hint at some of the guidance not being fantastic on their billings, but they beat top bottom, and you know the general EPS guidance was pretty good as well, and it still pulled back. Crowd's been on a tear. I mean, it's some stocks just correspond and made the bottom in January, so the timing of when this bottomed is perfect to make it look as good as possible this year. But 90 to 210 on the year, going into the end, you're not at big resistance levels, but you're pretty darn close to some big ones. It wouldn't surprise me if the trade tomorrow was a different rip style trade on Crowd. The weird thing is that it kind of did that today. Like it was down on Zscaler's move, and sometimes look at a sympathy name. That's what I want to get to. If you look at a sympathy name, it basically dipped into what I would think is because of Zscaler. It dipped into yesterday's low and previous support, and then just proceeded to run $6. And that move happened with no red candles from 9:30 right into 11 o'clock, and it was just clean to the upside. So, you know, sometimes you're looking for things, and if you don't like Zscaler, have a gander at CrowdStrike. They haven't reported yet. I do think you might have a little bit of a dip because it's going to be hard to meet expectations, which have always been pretty high. It's been a huge run on the year. When something goes 90 to 220, what does it have to do for the earnings report last of the year not to have some people looking to take profit on the first excuse they get? I actually hope you can get a dip and trade off the 200 level tomorrow for CrowdStrike. We'll see if it happens. Rivian, I wanted to look for a re-entry into Rivian. I thought we'd maybe test down towards 17. It decided not to. I got out break even. It bounced off that break even level. So still looking pretty good there. Rivian is a monster that I don't wonder if we're not looking for some longs. I mean, if you were drawing, like if you go in the daily chart in here, there's your little smiley face action, which could be breaking out at 18, if it can get to 18. That's a big if. But I do like the action that I'm seeing on Rivian if it can sustain this move. It's done step one, which is put on a reversal. This is why you get out of shorts when something makes a reversal like that. But now you're breaking out back above that 17 level. Lots of room to run. I think this is the first time in a while I'll sit down thinking long in Rivian. And it's not off a big support level. I'm actually thinking higher low long on Rivian. That's what it's all about. Bears versus Bulls, your timing is horrible. What are you talking about? Bear versus Bull, we don't say it enough. Thank you for everything you do. Anybody that's in this chat knows exactly what I'm talking about here. We have the best community, but we also have the best community in part because we have the best moderator on YouTube. And that's you, Bears versus Bulls. So your timing is always perfect, as far as I'm concerned. You might just be talking about when you play the slots. That's just fun and gambling. There's no good way to do it. But back on over to Meta. What a huge 20 in a row you've lost. Okay, well, you're due basically. It's play money. Just say you're due and make the next play. Holy crap, Meta. Meta continues to power to the upside. I thought we'd go dip and rip off this one. It looks like we're just doing the rip part. Unfortunately for us. I still want to reload Apple, but it's not at the price. It's not at my price yet. We got to get back up into VWAP. This wick just came out of nowhere. That 190 is where we like to short. It's at 189.80. When you're trading in the afternoon, if it doesn't give you the level you want, if it's trading in a 45-cent range or 50-cent range essentially, then if you take it 20 cents early in a 50-cent range, it doesn't really give you a good risk to reward. Like it needs, if I'm trading off the 190 level, you need to get 190 in a situation like that for Apple. So the only reason I'm not reloaded is it just hasn't given me the price I want. We are running out of time for that to happen, but I will take the reload if it gives it to me in the next 5 minutes.
All right, come on. Oh, no, we just went to 81s now on Microsoft. Do not, honestly, do this. Hopefully it comes back in. I mean, am I going to have to put something a little bit trickier here and not announce where we're at? Maybe that'll trick the algo again. So let's just wait to see what happens here with Microsoft as we wait for 380.80 to come into play and then hopefully get filled there. Psych! We went to 380.85.
Oh my
Man,
God.
that's crazy. Right there. So there it is. We take the fill and now wait to see where we go from here on Microsoft. So there it is, man. Another fill. Pretty good there. Happy with that one. So Let's go. More money, more problems today. All right, Amazon still doing absolutely nothing. Let's check out Tesla. Oh, man, I still like that top level right there. We are going to have, again, it's now another 10 minutes until these imbalances do come through. So we will have to wait for that and see where we go. Yeah, you know what? That's the thing. Yeah, I'm glad my name isn't Phil as well. Shout out to my good friend, Phil.
Phil.
Because we say Phil about 400 times throughout the day at least, right there. So, yeah, it's like, oh, I just got a Neil there. Good.
Well, you know, my brother in the States is named Phil. That's why.
Yeah. No offense to anybody named Phil. That's why I was saying, like, shout out to my good friend Phil, and shout out to your brother. But the thing is like, yeah, that would be a little bit annoying.
You do say it a lot.
As we go.
It could be Alexa. Imagine if your name was Alexa these days.
Yeah, that's a shame if you've named your kid that.
Nobody should be doing that anymore, but I imagine a few people got kind of caught up in it's unfortunate.
I don't think they do it now. Yeah. I mean, whatever. It's probably a beautiful name, but it's like Siri, actually. I mean, there are people named Siri out there. So.
Yep.
Oh, God, look at my phone.
I knew it was
My phone just said, you need to unlock your phone first.
I think that happened last week, I thought. One time too. My
there
meta
it is.
chart.
Yeah, see people now right now. Yeah, or if you name your kid Google, you say, okay, Google. There's people that dumb. I mean, honestly, Elon's kid is named like XY, X5, 2, 8 to the pi, 5 times 10. What's up, Brendo?
Brought to you by IG.com. Trade Forex pairs like Euro USD with spreads as low as 0.8 pips and zero commissions at IG. Terms and conditions apply.
IG, shout out to Frank of director.
Exactly.
Tell like it is. The
Put
director.
Some respect
himself.
on his name.
Put some respect up in that. RDHL, Martin Warshinsky.
Oh, I finally won 4,000 points.
See, holla at your boy. I don't have a bang. I don't know, whatever. But you see, that's the thing. You're due when it's play money. Like just keep playing until you eventually hit, right? Like it's just you get the points by watching the show and commenting in the chat. So they just sort of replenish themselves. The way I see it. This RDHL is trying to go again. I hope I didn't butcher your name, Martin. I tried my best. And again, we're not perfect. I can't pronounce every name right. Brendan's really good at pronouncing people's names. But this is starting to get off the schneid one more time. Just be careful for halts. You want to take a shot at that one?
Which one is it? Yeah, sure.
Where is it? I have to scroll. There it is, right here. I said Martin Warshinsky. He says yes.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Every now and then. Listen, that was a fluke for me. I'm telling you right now.
For me, it's no fluke.
That was a fluke for me. I can admit it. It was a fluke for me to get Warshinsky there
good, yeah.
first time through.
Wojnarski there. I was looking up, we had Adrian Zadunchuk, so I just wanted to show it to you. I'll have to find him. I can't. Oh, that's right, because he's Crypto Burb right now. This was a nervous one for me because when he was on the show, now I can't find him on Crypto Burb. Oh, it's the Burb's Nest. That's what it is. Okay, I'll find it. But I was like really nervous because he was on the show and I gave it a shot and he goes dead on. And it's a crazy one like that. Silent, everything, everywhere. But anyway, shout out. I'll find his name in a second.
It just the last thing about that RDHL. I don't think I'm not trading this 15 minutes to go, but it had a halt at 265 and then resistance at 265 right in here. So if you happen to be long this, these are levels that tend to matter, especially late in the day here. So no one ever went broke taking profit. This was a $1 play yesterday. So anyone that's swinging this, there was a lot of volume in underneath $1. A couple of days ago. Then you had the push in here today for the dollar retest to the upside. It was a $1 push that kind of failed a buck. Now it's pushing through. This is a good opportunity, I would think, if it fails 265 at the end of the day for some people to be taking profit. Another low float special.
Here it is right here, yeah. Love those low float names these days, especially shortable ones that we don't have to pay for shorts. Save a little bit of money. Here it is right here. Adrian Zadunchuk. See, this was a crazy name. Thanks to Bears vs. Bulls. It is at the Crypto Burb. This guy's 30 under 30. Some of the things that I've seen this guy post up has been pretty unbelievable. So go find him out. Maybe we'll get him back on this new run in crypto. we had Adrian on when crypto was down to 23, 24. So he's been a great guest. He's been pumping Bitcoin, and he's a CMT. It's not about pumping anything. He's looking at price levels and the technicals and everything, and he likes. So good call on that one, as well as Elon Musk just tweeted out, and I retweeted it as well. This is not too long ago, of course, and it was just, he tweeted this out at 3 p.m. We all knew it was going to happen, but there it is right there. Cybertruck deliveries start on Thursday. So that was the main reason today why we were looking at Tesla. And again, man, like, woe is me again. But hey, I just have to get better in December, right? We're having a great month right now this month. So everything is great. But, you know, that, like, 50 cents worth of a hit. The thing is, we wrote down 232. So my plan is that if 236 failed, and that's just kind of the pre-market bottoms, that we would get out relatively quick, and 50 cents probably isn't enough. But again, you know, you got to judge. We don't show share sizes on here, but you got to judge whatever share size you have. And if it was worth the hold down there to 232, maybe it was. But that's 234 bottom, and now you're getting an absolute monster move up. But the idea behind it, honestly, I'm going to show this one more time, because everyone always is asking for free resources. How do you find hot names? I mean, today, Tesla, Meta, both on here, right? Intel, we talked about that, Affirm and NVIDIA. So again, just staying true, trading what we're posting, and hopefully being able to catch some of this. I mean, we caught Affirm, which was nice, but not before we lost by not following our rules. So I think discipline is very important when trading, as is patience. So let's wait to see here what happens as we get ready to the close. Only 4 minutes until the market on close imbalance, and we're going to take a sip of water here as we get locked and loaded. Excited for the close. I think the imbalances hopefully will move a little bit of this market.
Well, the early look, did we say it? It was nothing. Yeah, it's still only 100 to sell.
107.
107 to sell. I did wait for the reload. Sometimes patience and discipline are the same thing. Sometimes, you know what, it does go part and parcel, right? It's easier to be disciplined if you're patient, though. Because if you get a bad entry, like if you're impatient, you get a bad entry, then it's floating against you further. It's easy to start making mistakes when you do that, because you're like, oh, the good fills on the stock, I should just be taking those in addition to the ones that are bad fills. So I waited for it to get to 190 on Apple. I'm risking to the 190.10. We mentioned that before. With only 3 minutes to go until the imbalances come out, it ends up being, when you make a trade at this time, sometimes it can end up being like a little bit of a coin flip if it gets until 350, which it might. If we break out the top, then I will stop out. I'm willing to stop out. If it gets back underneath, we might take one more trade in it. Mara is making a small run at the high, through the high of the day here. It's not necessarily explosive relative to what's been going on. Like on the daily chart, you know, Mara, this is the biggest day it's had in a couple of weeks, but the afternoon move is basically going like 10 cents from its consolidation. So not nearly as explosive, but it's up 10%, man. Like, what do you want for Mara? I still think it's in the midst of a breakout that has clearly more room to run on the chart. At 1265 is the next resistance level. If we get to 50, I'm just going to get out. Quarters to 50 is plenty for an afternoon, so I'll be happy to see that. But we could be getting out of this Apple. I wish I wasn't waiting for, you know, you have a bit of a plan of action. Sorry about my meta chart. Let's go to the 15-minute there. The plan of action was to look for a VWAP dip on Meta. Meta just only ripping. Not unfortunate. It's only unfortunate they didn't get the trade. It never dipped into VWAP to give me the trade this afternoon. It's just breaking out. Almost 1% to the upside into a flat-ish market, which is going to end up green. So it looks like Randy, he switched one of the bears to a bull. He meant that it was a flat day, but it still ended up rallying the market anyways.
Yeah, Randy. All right, we're still, and now there's only 2 more minutes left in this day, so before the imbalances come out, which is pretty much. So I just wanted to say that, like, again, it was not part of the plan to exit, but you got to. So we took out, again, another piece right here at 95 on Microsoft, just because to be sitting here when we don't know what these imbalances are going to come out as seems a little bit silly to me. So we are getting out. Oops, that's not the right thing. As I'm trying to show you, where's the imbalance locator? Here it is right here. So this is what's going to populate. We're going to get rid of broker now because there's really no point. And then we're just going to wait to see New York and NASDAQ as they run through here coming into the close. So on that note, there is only a minute left. I did get, it was Intel. Intel's okay too, because it just came right back up to the upside. We took some 5s. So we took some more out there at 05 off of the 10 short. If it blows up, it blows up. Like, we already have our trigger out for this trade. So if it breaks higher, it breaks higher. That's 44.15s. So I was just giving it to here. We still have a little piece left. We have about 25% left of this trade. So this one, we didn't exactly get everything we wanted on the downside for Intel, so that kind of sucks. But if we do rip up here in just a matter of seconds, that's where the out is on that one. And it's a good hold for Amazon, as that's now 50 cents in the money. We might as well do sort of the same thing. If this comes up to 147.20 or so, let's get out of Amazon. So we're going to watch out for that, as now we only have a little bit of time left. So I said 147.20. So let's put out our offer in case that does come through. Now with only 15 seconds left, let's call those back up, and then we can watch them together. So let's see what happens right now. We'll have Amazon up. I'll start to click on them. Anything that comes through, we'll get the total from it. You can go to Financial Juice to get it. That's where we get it from. So here we go, 3, 2, and 1. The imbalances are now out. There goes Amazon. It looks like it breaks through 147. So that's a nice move there. Apple to the buy side, Amazon to the buy side. Go Amazon. So here we go, man. It's another 70-cent winner there for Amazon. So that's all good. Microsoft breaking higher. And again, I thought I had that out there for Microsoft. Right here at 75, let's just punch out immediately. There it goes. Bye-bye to Softy as well, as that comes out. So that's going to be a good trade. As we wait to see about Amazon, I don't know. I just randomly put that out there on Amazon at 17. Let's just get a piece out right now. If we can punch out of 8s, and there it is right there. That's another one. So
awesome.
as we go. So far, so good here, man. We will end the day on definitely a high note with some good trades there. And just to show you Microsoft, I know we went through that real quick. There it is, man. Blows out through the top.
All millions on these.
Yeah, so boom. What was it? 3.4 billion.
It's huge.
To buy. So, hey.
Yeah. Well,
there goes the market.
That's what happens when, like, Apple was $1 million, Amazon was $1 million, it's now 800,000. It's already starting to pair. Intel being $1 million, it's a $44 stock, but that's still a decent sized number. TLT ends up to the sell side. Pfizer, oddly enough, is a buy. Pfizer and AT&T, those are the types of names that are likely to pair. I got out. We had to stop at 190.10. I got 11s out on Apple on the way back up. I wish I could tell you, well, if you know it was going to come out $1 million to buy, then all you got to do is punch long. But you don't know which direction it's going to come. All you can do is protect yourself if it comes out against you. If it comes out in my favor, it's probably just flushing right down into that recent low. But you've got to protect yourself on the other side. This is why we go over the imbalances. They don't move the market every day, but sometimes you get a 3.4 billion, and a couple of those big cap tech names are there. Riot's starting to run out of steam. It's just, this is not moving. I'm just going to get out. I'll just go for the 38, see if we can get this one out. Meta, I didn't see this on the imbalances. Still just, let's go back to 15-minute. I didn't see it on the imbalances, but Meta made another push through, breaks 338. This is ending on a high note. Remember this FTC thing that tanked the stock yesterday? Meta's shrugging it off. Generally speaking, when the regulators come at big cap tech, it tends to be short-lived down moves. I'm not saying it can never, all of something serious happens and a really big fine comes in. Obviously, it could go down further. But generally speaking, it's usually a dip by opportunity the day or two next. Thank you, Spark Shop, for the super chat there. You called out a long wick candlestick and said the reason we care is because that tells you where the market doesn't want to be. I've made a lot of money thanks to that simple statement. Thanks, team. You know what? Thank you guys for that. I'll tell you, like that whole wick bottom, wick top thing. The first time it ever happened to me, really, I kind of learned that from getting washed on some penny stocks and rebate stocks. Essentially, where I'd look at be a consolidation level, and I'd be long in front of said or short in front of said consolidation level. It would spike up. I'd lose a bunch because I had a bunch of shares say in a consolidation like that, and you notice that happen, and it makes a wick, and then a rejection underneath, and you're like, oh crap! If I had held my position or re-entered, it's a better idea, and then it would flush. So some of that's learning it by experience, and then part of it is just what does that pattern tell you? I think Sharif and Adair are doing a fantastic job with the education, and when you look at charts, patterns, and candlesticks and all that good stuff, just remember, what is it telling you is what matters. The fact that it's a rejection of a breakout or a rejection of a break past level is what matters, not necessarily what the candle looks like. You care about how can you use that in your trade. So thank you, Spark Shop, for that. Corey in the chat saying GME. Is it going again?
Maybe.
GME with, obviously, with the rumor. I don't know what we're calling it. Yeah, it is going again. We'll call it the rumor of Roaring Kitty being back in. because I don't know if it's true or not. But if this can get through 14.5, it gets a little spicy. Squeezes are more exciting when they get past big levels of resistance and start essentially running stops. Maybe you ran some at the 13 level. That's where I traded it today. But I think 1450. This gets past 1450, it could have some legs. It's been a while, but the last time it had a good run, it was at least a week or so, and it made a run from like 15 to 20. I mean, the lower it goes, the better percentage moves to the upside are, right? Like that's the good thing about stocks that do this is it doesn't take as much for it to get a big percent gain when it's been getting destroyed like that. I think that's why people like Mullen, because they realize it's not that hard to make 50% in a stock that's 16 cents. It happens all the time. The other problem is that sometimes it goes to zero.
Yeah, for sure. I asked how people's months are going. Yeah, some people like this month, some people don't. Yeah, I mean, we're getting near the end of the month as you come up. Santa Claus rally, of course, doesn't start till December 22nd. So get ready for that. And yeah, it's been, I've been having a good month, but it's been a tough month for sure. As you look around, I know just in the chat, more people saying no than yay. So just be careful as we come through earnings. Continuously trade the names that are in play. I think that's going to be what works for many people. And then just watch out for your stops. That's it as it continues to go upside there. Look at Tesla, man, 346 today. I did punch out of Intel for flat. I didn't give it till 15s. There. When that came out, honestly, and this is what I'm talking about flipping over and changing your mind. Like when that came out at 3.4 billion to buy, honestly, like getting out for flat, we'll take that over and over again. Microsoft, like I said, the #1 name there today. Get the heck out. Look at that. There's the break. I actually thought I had a break of 75, but I guess I didn't because we were so light on the position. But we got out at 80 anyways, so that's pretty much the out that we were looking for. And then what else did we have? Obviously, Affirm's probably. No, actually, Affirm's still chilling, so that's fine. And then the out that we took was Amazon as well, which is, again, another good trade there today, another positive name as we only traded today Affirm. We've gone over that, like boom to boom. Amazon. Intel, we just talked about that, so that's 3 names. Sir Softy, Tesla, which, I mean, come on. And then our last one, Uber, which is still a positive name, but it's too bad because we should have gone long as Uber breaks. Uber short, reload, and out. As you can notice, this is how you stay positive on names, right? This is why I'm only trading 6 or 7 names. Like when it breaks, I'm out. And so it's easy for me to see that if I'm able to gain this and lose that, then we're going to be okay. So that was that trade there. Oh my God, it's almost time.
It's
right.
3 minutes to go.
Yeah, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go over to the other desk. So join me tonight for the recap show. We'll have Brian Shannon on, and we will have earnings to discuss. So just a couple more minutes. Join me there as traders stay late with the recap show. I promise we won't go too much later than 4:30. So if you're looking for some fun and excitement, join me in a couple minutes.
And if you're looking for some fun and excitement, the market actually making its best move right at the end of the day. On that, remember, 3.4 billion was the buy-in balance overall going into the close. So I just looked over. I got out of SoFi before it broke the high of the day. It's now making fresh high. You don't know it's going to be a buy-in balance. I can't know that. Rivian broke the high of the day. It was just said in the chat, and I agree 1,000% on this. Although, probably more like 100%. If there's any strength in this market, Rivian does test this 18, which is a 200-period moving average, and that should be a heck of a level tomorrow. It's stair-step to the upside. I think it's time to start looking for some longs a little more aggressively. I wasn't looking until late. This is going. You already saw Tesla bouncing to the upside. As far as I'm concerned, some of the best opportunities for big breaks up have been in depressed EV names. Fisker has a chance to make another bottom. I was in the consolidation short there. I had the 178 short. I got out at one and broke that 180, just looking for another stair step down. But this name, you look for opportunities. If the EVs go, I don't want to forget about the 40% short float that these guys have. You have a double bottom now off of about 170, 175, 176. Double bottom on the daily. And it's not to say you like it because of how far it could go to the upside, but any sign of strength in this, all it has to do is make one bounce up. You just need one good opportunity for the long in a stock like Fisker, and the EVs have already shown you step one. With about a minute to go, Joe Warner saying, look at VinFast. I mean, why not? I guess it's a depressed EV name as well. Look, I prefer Rivian. If you put a gun to my head and said you have to sell half your Tesla shares and buy another EV company, and then you precluded me from buying one of the legacy names, I'd probably go out and buy Rivian, and I would promise you VinFast would be pretty far down the list, mostly because I don't know anything about it. I know they have a showroom here in Toronto, but I don't really know too much else about it. It is getting a bid, but this was already bouncing off the lows. To me, what's interesting about that Fisker is it's bouncing off these lows like right now. You're at the lows where you can get that opportunity for a move. So with about 20 seconds to go, no new positions on, but we're watching this market scream into highs of the day as we do that thing where you get the camera off me and put it onto Adara so we can get the countdown on. Let's ring this bell. It's been a fun one. Tesla pumping to the upside still as we head into the end of the day in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you know what to do. And there we go. The market is closed. It's been a fantastic day. Okay, Dan McIsaac saying they're building a new battery facility in North Carolina there for VinFast, so there is actually a bit of a catalyst there. I want to shout out to Fabian and Ramin. Apparently didn't even get a chance to eat lunch. They were so busy in here today. Hope you enjoyed that chicken, because it's always chicken around here at Trader TV Live. Shout out to Sharif and Adara, getting your education on, learning a little bit about some chart patterns and some indicators the last couple of weeks. I hope you guys are enjoying that. And as always, a big shout out and thanks to Brendan, who I think is still at the desk, even though I don't see him, always bringing us the news, and the fantastic guest we had this afternoon, Frank Caberna. We love him, always dropping some science. A great guest coming in the after show, where we're going right now, the market recap with Sean, and some earnings to get to as well. A monster name. I think it's an 8% expected move in CrowdStrike. Let's see what happens as we take you from here to there for the market recap.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Am I muted? No, I am not. Okay, so here we go. We are out with some new earnings coming through right now. We have Intuit out, making a move to the upside here. Oh, God, we have this little, I hate this chart thing here. Let's get rid of that. Okay, let's just find out what is happening with Intuit. There it is, dancing around a little bit. The numbers are now out. Thank you so much for joining me one more time here as we're going to go over everything that's moving here in the aftermarket. We do have a little bit of a scan set up here from Trade Ideas. So anything that moves should show up here. It's just getting ready to go to the downside. Anything will show up. These races, they're called. Thank you to Trade Ideas for that one. And then also show sponsored right now by Benzinga. Thank you, Benzinga, for that. As here we go. I'm going to probably knock over, put this over here. My mic. If my mic goes over there, it'd be a problem. All right, put it there. All right, let's see what's happening with Intuit. I heard they're out. I don't see it on here right now, but Intuit has made a move down into 550, back up to 568. We will wait for that. And CrowdStrike, here it is right now. Bob Iger. We talked about this earlier. About him not trying to sell some of his assets. Looks like there's a town hall for Disney today and some of their employees, as we will wait to see what's up with that and Disney and where we go from there. Disney had a little bit of a rough day for sure. Was down 3%? Yeah, down 2.79%. As you can see here on a 5-minute chart, we have the 1 minute. Where's my daily, man? This whole layout is a little bit messed up. Where go right there for the day? That's a 60-minute chart. Let's go over to the daily right now for Disney. Again, welcome back. We're going to go over the sectors in just 1 minute. There's Disney today. Nice moves, but right in here, making it rain to the downside there today. Again, this is a Trade Ideas error. It is not earnings today, but there's the move, just kind of gapping back down. Watch out for the gap fill. The gap fill would be all the way back into here into 85, so we will wait out for Disney to make said move back in DIS. Okay, what a wild day it was for the market. Not really, as the market was kind of chilled out. Let's call a daily chart again on this just to have a quick look. The NASDAQ today, I mean, here's everything here. UNG today down 4.8%. As we can see, these are the, I could maybe switch these up and put change from close here and then the price over here. So, oops, we want that. There we go, percentage-wise. Okay, perfect. So there it is, down $5 today, down 4.8% coming through. That's UNG is at $5 today, down 4%. FXI, the China names, despite getting a great report from PDD, nothing else, guys, nothing else. Watch down here for $25. I do want to thank absolutely Oh, did he? Okay. Okay, so apparently Charlie Munger passed away, poor guy. If we could find out how old he was there, that would be kind of sad. So there it is right now. Poor Warren. Okay, so people are talking about that. We knew that was going to happen at some point. Obviously, their holdings of BRK.B aren't going to do anything on this, right? As Berkshire makes that move, we'll see. This is a daily chart. Here it is for a 1-minute chart. Berkshire's having a great run as of late. You've seen Apple make those moves high. 99 problems, and Charlie Munger, that was fantastic, man. Congratulations on a great life, and thanks for putting a lot of money in a lot of people's pockets. So we'll just go with a little bit of a breaking news there, as it's been confirmed, I guess. Poor Charlie Munger, shout out to the family, and now you'll probably get some more, donations coming through and whatnot. We'll find out where that all goes. But Berkshire today, not a great day, but still pretty good, down 0.51 there today. All right, what made some new moves today? U.S. oil with the move back up to the upside. The United States Oil Fund makes the move there today. And we did have a little bit of news about oil. PCG today did have that nice move up. PCG, is that what it is? Is this Pacific Gas and Electric? Yeah, today for the first time, PGE it is. Sorry, PGE. Today for the first time reinstated their dividend, of course, off those nasty wildfires. No, I think I am right there, PCG. Anyways, there it is, PCG. Reinstated dividend there, so we'll find out if this is going Pacific Gas and Electric Company right there to the upside recently, but downside today, reinstated dividend today, 53 cents per share. All right, IBB was a good one today as well. TAN today, 1.5%. As we wait for this one to get going as well, the TAN ETF, Solar Edge, as rates come back into play a little bit. We kind of like TAN there. Shout out to Michael Noss. I know there's a lot of people been talking about gold. Look what gold's been doing. Huge upside move, man. Maybe we could talk to Brian about this one as well. But again, as a CMT, all we're really going to do here, or all he's probably going to do, is talk about us coming right back up to this high. We did talk about making moves. This goes all the way back to early 2022. Let's all take a second and take a sip of water. Good job there. Up to 190 right now for gold as everything gold continues to work out. We've seen, which is kind of strange, man. You've seen Bitcoin going to the upside, gold going to the upside, and the market's still holding highs right now, which is pretty incredible to see. The retail ETF with a nice move up. Did I hear someone say today Carvana went a little bit ham today? That only went up 2%, so we'll watch out for Carvana. This has been a really interesting name as well, coming back into $25, $26. A little bit of a dip buy opportunity there on Carvana, reaching the 200 period, now exploding back up to the upside. Let's see what happens here with CVNA as that continues to go. Wow, super interesting thing here. We are going to talk about what's going on with Twitter, but look what happened today, man. It's GME time. Nice move back down to the downside today, 1190. Watch out, man. It's down 90% from its January 2021 high of $75. Now remember, of course, we all watched Dumb Money. We've all watched GME before. Its high was more in the $500, but it's been reverse split. So this is attested to. Nice move to the downside. We will find out more about GME. And if you're trading GME, I just say good luck to you, as you are obviously playing a meme stock. And we could just see right here, GME, although it's well past meme days, man. I mean, if GME has a chance to go, do I still think that there's going to be something on Reddit, Wall Street Bets, swaggy stocks? There are still a lot of traders, and I know Matt was talking to me as well. Shout out to Matt Carnes, another viewer of ours, talking to me in a DM there from on Twitter, on X, saying that there's still a lot of traders holding the bag even from day one. So let's see if that still has a chance to get back up to the upside. Let's just check out Benzinga Pro here to see. So remember we talked about Splunk getting that buyout? There it is right now. Splunk 55 cents. Nice little move. SPLNK. We'll see what's going on with that. Workday. Here's the Intuit numbers. So Intuit again today. 247 beats 198. That's a nice one. Revenue also beating on Intuit. And let's see what their FY24 is. Their forward forecast. EPS seems to be little bit light, 16.17 versus 16.36, but they give a range again. This is why I don't understand why people forward cast, because if you're going to give such a rough range, why even do it in the first place? But I guess if there's any problems, we appreciate that. So I'm going to say it's probably a guide problem right now for INTU. So let's have a quick look to see what's happening. Intuit, great stock, man, hit it upside. Anybody that's been long that, we hit the 52-week high right now. And as you can see, flat in the aftermarket for Intuit. Good report. Looks a little bit light on the forward guide, but we'll see what's happening there. There's Splunk again. I want to find out the information because I thought Splunk got bought out by, was it CRM or, hold on a second, maybe if I go into profile right here, we'll say something here. Was it Cisco or something? Marketing, the company was founded by, okay. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more work. Maybe they got a buyout offer but did not accept. Maybe you guys in the chat can shout that out and tell me what's going on. Yo, what's up? What's up for Dan McIsaac? He wants a banger right there. You got a $7 winner on what stock? Nice move there. Maybe it was Intuit. Crowd, is Crowd out? Let's find out what's going on with CrowdStrike. Again, another name at 52-week highs. Okay, CrowdStrike bouncing around. There it is. CrowdStrike is out right now. So let's go. A little bit of a breaking news issue there. Bang, get that out of here. On CrowdStrike right now, let's find out the numbers right here. CrowdStrike, EPS of 82 cents, beating 74. So we'll eat a banger for that one right now as well. Sales heavier as well, 780. Well, I guess bigger, heavier, yeah, I don't know. Heavier would think the stock would be come down, but I mean better right there. 786 versus 777. So nice move. Oh, Splunk increases annual recurring revenue 15%. The market likes that recurring revenue, so that's a good one. All right, CrowdStrike right now doing absolutely nothing. I think that's what you're talking about, Dan McIsaac. A nice move down there to 2 bills. And hey, look, if you're trading CrowdStrike, why not do that off of 2 bills, man? Let's have a quick look. Whoopsies, what have I done? All right, CrowdStrike right there, nice move. Let's see if we can zoom back a little bit. There's your 200 marker. So again, falling back into those levels, now making that move back up for CRWD. Looks like it's going to be a decent reporting day for these stocks as CrowdStrike's down a little bit, Intuit down a little bit, Splunk upside as we continue to go. Anything else? We had Workday come out with something. I don't know if people are still holding this, but again, a nice move up for Workday. Closing the Workday today in and around 237, now printing 245s. Nice move up for W Day. Okay, so that's a little bit of a talk there about a couple earnings plays. The Qs today relatively flat. Let's see what happens. Again, the NASDAQ up here. We've already busted through July highs. We've talked about that. Now we almost have coming into play nearing all-time highs. I think we're 4 percentage points away or so. Looks like we did make those in November. It was basic. This is kind of cool. I like that look, Ramin, right now. But okay, so just to come into play there, 4 bills. So I think we're percentage points away from this all-time highs in the Qs. And what's going to slow it down? I mean, we have Copilot really rocking right now. Look at Microsoft. And again, 2 weeks ago on this very show, not even 2 weeks ago, we talked about this 360 level being defended back there. Huge move up to 380. Microsoft continues to still be the king of the castle as far as I'm concerned. Everybody wants to talk about Microsoft. They want to talk about Copilot. They want to talk about OpenAI, ChatGPT, AI, and things like that. Well, let's just be perfectly honest. There's not that many companies right now that are actually monetizing AI. I didn't listen to the podcast. I know there was some talk there. I listened to the first part about AI. We just had a podcast with Neil and Brendan go through. Let us know how you liked it. Nice move back up there to the upside for AI products. I think Adobe, if you come check out Adobe, they have some AI products built into their suite right now, and you're seeing them looking to take out all-time highs. Microsoft, Adobe right now, some of the only companies that are actually having some monetary flow through from AI. We all, of course, know that investment that Microsoft made, they've gained $1 trillion in market cap over this year-to-date move. And again, a lot of that has to do with their $10 billion investment into OpenAI. All right, so a quick little look at CrowdStrike quickly to see where we go as we are getting Brian locked and loaded to come through right now. 210 for CrowdStrike. So again, a nice bottom there. If Brian comes on here today, I love Brian. If he comes on here today and nails and tells me something about CrowdStrike 200, I'm walking out of here. I'm not, but great move down there. Look where it hit, 200. And the reason why we talk about that was there was a great hit piece last week when we had Brian on the show, and he absolutely nailed NVIDIA. He went down. I'm going to ask him about this again. I believe it was down to that bottom of about 400. He gave us that wick, and it's not going to, you're going to see it right there. A couple days ago, these wicks down. This is a 1-minute chart. Sorry, we need it on the daily. Let me just call this up here. 470. Oh, we probably don't have aftermarket prints. No, we don't. But it came down to 470 there before ripping back to 5 and change on their earnings report. So that was a good release for sure for NVIDIA. The thing about NVIDIA here as we go, is this a new look or we're doing this look on purpose or? Okay, I like it then. All right, I just want to make sure. I like it. Hey, any new look I like, man. I like that one of the whole office at the end of the day. So a big shout out again to Ramin and Fabian. The thing I love about these, I was gonna say guys, but then individuals, is that they're always smiling, and honestly, hand to God, like they're really amazing, great workers and always smiling. So happy faces unite on that one. The NVIDIA, I just want to go over this. Forward PE, NVIDIA is actually even at these levels, and I don't have the forward PE on here, but it's only 23. It's actually cheaper than Microsoft, Google, many of the Mag 7. So even though you see NVIDIA up 230% year to date, it still is relatively cheap compared to some of those other names. So let's just watch out what's going on, man, for this name. Okay. Those that are always smiling, tell me when we're ready for Mr. Shannon, who's, again, always smiling. I mean, I love the guests that we have on here. It's Brian Shannon. It's CMT time and it's Trader Talk. Let's go over and see what Brian's up to. Brian, if you tell me something about CrowdStrike at 200, I'm out of here. What did CrowdStrike look, in your opinion? First of all, welcome.
Thank you. I had to smile, too.
How was the Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving was good. It was quiet. We had some people with COVID in the family, so it was kind of just quiet, myself and my wife.
How's the recovery going? Hopefully good?
Yeah. No, not for us. We're good. They're doing fine, though.
Perfect. Oh, before we get into real business here, because we're going to always have a little bit of fun, are you a turkey or a ham guy?
I had a rack of lamb.
Lamb? Okay, so I'll slap a fail. Where's my fail button? A fail on the question. All right. Please say one of the following. Are you more of a pumpkin pie guy or an apple pie guy?
Man, chocolate ice cream. Sorry, Sean. The questions just aren't landing here. I'm not the pie guy.
All right, I'm back. Okay, all right. Well, then back on to stocks as we go. I like chocolate ice cream as well. My kids love ice cream. A la mode. How about that? You put a little ice cream.
Sure.
Okay,
perfect.
Let's go. Okay, Brian, anything on CrowdStrike? And I know maybe your charts, hopefully they're set up for this. What were you seeing? If you come over to my screen real quickly, I just want to give the viewers an update. We're at 209 and 210 right now on CrowdStrike. I always get nervous, Brian, about stocks heading into their report when they're at all-time and 52-week highs, sort of like how CrowdStrike is right now. Was there anything on the chart that might have indicated anything here for Crowd?
Yeah, two things, the 20-day moving average and the anchored VWAP from the same place we anchored the NVIDIA last week. So this move that we've seen since basically November 1st in these markets marked an important low for a lot of stocks. So coming into this, actually, I teased it on Twitter and said, let's see if Sean knows where I anchored from, because it's the same spot that we did with NVIDIA, that this level right here, 198, that was the level that I was going to say, here's what I would be looking for if we get a strong reactive pullback. It didn't quite make it down there, and it's hanging in here at that 210 level. I still think that it's possible we'll get a test of the NVIDIA. Probably comes down towards that level here. Again, that's the same thing. It's the 20-day moving average and the anchor off of that November low. So it's a common anchor point for all of these stocks and the markets. And real quick, this is where we are with the semiconductors. The semiconductors broke that high, all-time high. We're testing it now, and we're below the declining 5-day moving average with lower highs and lower lows. So I'm a little bit cautious to semis right now. And if they spill over to the broader market and drag the NASDAQ down, then I think that maybe this market's going to pull back a little bit. But it's been so strong, I wouldn't be surprised if the semis instead do this and then continue to ramp higher. So those are just some of the things I'm looking at, Sean. And that, if they did get real bad, then the anchor from that low would be a place near 155. I think that's unlikely, though.
A little bit about those semis. I know that you and I, semiconductor, of course, and we talked about the transport sort of being the old school leading the market. I really do think that if the SMH loses some of those levels, I was looking at 140, and that's exactly where we bounced off of back in early November again, exactly where that AVWAP is. And I just got to say, that's a big one, man. Get the bang out for you. $2 away on CrowdStrike. I'll give you 198, that 200 bottom. Let's see if that does come in. All right, sometimes great minds think alike, Brian, so I'm not really sure why you're thinking like me too much.
I was going to say that couldn't be either of us.
Which could have, oh yeah, that's right. I guess that's true. All right, let me just come back over. The reason why I talk about this is look at this Affirm trade today. I said, let's take the long if we break above 30.50. I really like the pre-market trade here today. Affirm comes through, and I'm going to show you how brutally I traded this. I'm okay with it because, hey, it is what it is, and Trader TV is all about being honest. I'm not just going to post up trades that, again, are only winning trades or anything like this. I lost on this trade. Look at me going long here, and I want to talk about something. This is at 30.40. The sticky note level that I wrote down, of course, was 30.50. Has this ever happened to you, Brian, where you're thinking a level, but because you don't want to miss it, you maybe get in a little bit too early? Look what happens when I punch this level. I punched a long, and then it immediately falls back in, and I take basically a 30-cent hit. Then it drops all the way down into 29 before basing out, and this is where my bread is buttered. Wait for some support, and I know this is how you sort of trade VWAP. Don't necessarily trade off of VWAP. Make sure that there's some actionable levels there around VWAP. Get that support. This is not a VWAP trade here for Affirm. It's just it based out, and I did not follow my rules. But if I did follow it, this is 30.50 right here. So we take the long, it dips a little bit, then we rip up $3. So we definitely captured that because there's my final out once we broke below the 50-period moving average. But what got you all excited? I saw you tweeting about Affirm as well. Tell the traders here and our viewers why maybe you like this trade.
Sure. So on Affirm, I had put this on Twitter a couple days ago, right before, at $26.10, right here. And I had purchased it as a swing trade. I was looking for it to break above the anchored VWAP from that all-time high. And I'm sorry, from the IPO, which is over here. And anyways, we're running past that now. Today, so that was perfect. I've only got 1/3 left. But today was a perfect example, Sean, of how I like to look at these for the day trade. So I had 1/3 coming into it today, and this is today right here. So this marks the beginning of the day. And you can see today's volume weighted average price. This is what I call chase the gap or wait for VWAP. It gaps up. I don't want to chase it like you were talking about. Instead, I want to see it get back above the daily volume weighted average price. And it had then tested the VWAP from the day before Thanksgiving and yesterday. So it was above both of those. The buyers regained control here. So I added at that point with my stop on that purchase right here, and just a beautiful move. So I'm still holding 1/3 of my original position after, I came in with 1/3. I traded another third basically and have 1/3 left. If that math makes sense. It does to me.
Those pivot points there, is that something that you use? Because I'm well, obviously you do, as you call it up there.
Yeah.
Is that where you? That was my next question. You sort of answered it by that 1/3 answer, but is that what you do? Is you sort of wait for the the R1 and then R2? Do you ever go higher than that? Do you look at pivot points possibly as your first out? But that's a great draw again there. I'm learning more and more, and I've used your line all the time. So I say when there's a gap, wait for VWAP. So
Yep,
you just
perfect. And that was the best example there today. I mean, with a stock you were trading. So Sean, yeah, I use the pivots. These are, what people call the floor trader pivots, is I'm sure you know.
Yep.
But for people who aren't aware, just type that into Google, floor trader pivots. What I do is those become on my day trade purchases. That's where, or even my swing trades, the very first day. So the first day that I bought a firm at 26.10, I took a third off at 26.50. That was daily R2 for that day.
Okay.
That often halts the stock perfectly. Now, it didn't do it in this one, but it often halts it perfectly because there's programs there. So I take a third off to reduce risk. I took this third, my add-on purchase off up there today, and have that 1/3 left. But it's, those are great for reducing risk areas.
Yeah, I really liked what you said right there, and I think that that's so important about why VWAP is important, is because there are people that are trading houses, there's floor brokers, there's people that want to get to that VWAP, and it makes sense why programs would turn on in and around those levels. So again, with those floor pivots, you're just teaching everybody every day, and I want to thank you so much once again for that. Is that something that you do? Like, if you know that a firm is going to be in play for you today, right?
Mm-hmm.
Will you always set that daily anchored VWAP where you'll start it at the day, wait for a possible move down, and then take that? Is that a daily occurrence for you? And if it is, how many names? And I know, obviously, if you're anything like some of these other CMTs that we have on here, you chart a million names. But is it specific that you'll maybe only look at 10 names? Maybe you start at 8 o'clock in the morning or whatever, get your charts all lined up. How many individual names will you look at for intraday day trading like you did here with the firm?
I generally have about, so here's my list right now. So on the left here, you see STX down to SIG.
Okay.
Those are the ones that got stopped out of STX today, have a third left in Dash. And I'm thinking of adding to Dash, actually, because I own that one at, what price do I own that at? I always forget, $88 even. So those are the ones that I'm keeping a close eye on, like Fubo. Fubo could, this is a good one for your audience to look at if they like the low price names.
Perfect.
If you look at the weekly chart of this one, it's got some room to run. It's had this big, if they didn't scare you out, they'll wear you out. And it has the possibility of making big runs. People like this name for whatever reason. I guess it's got a good story with the gambling and the sports networking or whatever they do. But if this one pulls back a little bit tomorrow and then gets going, it could be in for a bigger move. So I set a lot of alerts, Sean. I probably set about 25 alerts each day just on stocks that I want to be reminded that it might be approaching a key level and I should pay closer attention. But I generally trade, 5, maybe 3 to 6 stocks a day.
Yep. I've definitely narrowed mine in today. I think today I traded about 6 names. So I think we are alike. Just come over to my screen real quick. I want to show you Brian as well. Fubo, good little look out on that one. Who's over there? Ramin or Fabian, just quickly. 18% short float. So I think,
I like that.
Yeah, in our world, that and yours as well. Of course, that could make it obviously a negative EPS. So we'll see if Fubo can get going again right there. Hey, you own a, we kind of joke about this on the show a little bit. Do you own a Roku?
I don't.
Yeah, okay, good. I don't know anybody that does. So that's it. There you go.
Me either. What the heck do they do? I've never bought the stock because of that. I just don't understand.
I know. It's the same. Okay, that's cool. It's the same thing that we talk about. We're like, why would anybody own a Roku? But the stock is a pretty hot fire Roku name today. Okay, not to put you on the spot, but is there anything maybe on your list that you were looking at that you're thinking could do something tomorrow? Will you add CrowdStrike into it there now that they have earnings? I assume that they may be on your radar now as well, but maybe one idea for some of them to look at for tomorrow?
Yeah, sure. I mean, so Zscaler, came down right to that anchor. If you look at the overnight, let me just put that on there. Last night, it came right down to the anchor from this low right here. And it was I posted that on Twitter saying it looks like that area. And that's exactly where it bounced, very similar to NVIDIA. So that's why I was looking at that level for crowd as well. So that is survived. This RPD has still kind of been a pain in the neck for me. You can see I'm drawing all over it. I still think it has the ability to get up towards that 65 in the next couple of weeks, probably. But for tomorrow in particular, I think AI is a good one to keep an eye on. It's starting to tighten up in here a little bit. And then IMGN is a pretty interesting little biotech that could get going nicely. Their revenues have been just out of the park. So it makes me look at that a little bit more seriously. I typically don't like the small biotechs because they're generally companies that lose money and don't have products. But this is one that looks real. So I'd say keep an eye on IMGN, in particular above 1634. And then Frog is another one I've got a close eye on. But that one probably needs to do this tomorrow and then go on maybe Thursday.
Okay, a little bit of gap and go situation there with Frog. Okay, look, I mean, thank you so much for everything. Over 2,100 people watching right now, over 600 likes. Hit those like buttons because we have the author of the year. This is the advanced or anchored VWAP, sorry, maximum trading gains with anchored VWAP. It's Brian Shannon. Thank you so much. They can go find you at Alpha Trends. Thank you for that, man. You hit crowd again. That 198 is pretty darn close in my book. Thank you for some of those trade ideas. And yeah, don't indulge too much, but after that segment, I think you deserve some chocolate ice cream. So thank you so much to Brian, everybody. And we'll see you next week. Ciao, my friend.
Bye, everybody.
That's Brian Shannon one more time. Yeah, guys, hit the like button for Brian. I think that was an absolutely fantastic segment. And that's what we're trying to do on the show. It's great for me to hear that, you know, Brian's swing trading, but also scalping in and out of some of his positions intraday. And I just think that that shows sort of some of the abilities, and we talk about it on the show all the time. You got to have different sort of tools in your toolbox, right? You got to have the ability to not only be able to scalp something out when potentially you get to a pivot point or you get to some of those support and resistance levels that Brian was talking about. That's really what you want to look at when you're trading. And then if you have a name that can run, Brian talked about 26 there on a firm. Hey, if you can get to $33, $34, that could be like a quarter for you. Like a whole quarter could be made on one trade, monthly, whatever your goals are. Sometimes you want to be able to hold something for that home run. That's why I'm so proud to be back and we can start the dollar clubs again. We had a couple of those coming through today. Okay, I know. All right, I did want to talk a little bit about today's tweets before we go, so let's go over to the next topic just really quickly as we are running out of time. I'm just going to go over to my profile here and some of the things that I tweeted out that I thought was pretty interesting. So we already talked about this one, and that was just GME, man. Comes back in, hits its 55-month low right there, almost to the penny that we bounced off of. Sorry, 33-month low. So right there, 1190. Big move up there, big move down, blasted back up to 75. So no surprise today maybe why GameStop starts going. You can go find, there's a bunch of comments on here about that. You can head over there and start to look. Now, I did want to talk about this too. I'll talk about this more on the show. You got to show the big screen if we can there, just real quickly here. So thanks for that. So here we go. The world's, how do I make this bigger? There it is. Maybe if I, yeah. So just some neat things here, man. This is the world's 10 largest companies by market cap. And I just want to figure, just this year alone, NVIDIA and Meta have jumped 11 and 17 places to put NVIDIA now at number 6. So this is just year to date. So obviously, as the year comes to a close, pretty accurate for a year long. But NVIDIA was nowhere to be found a year ago today. Well, it was number 17, but still, nice move upside. Meta, what a year it's been for Meta. If you remember, man, back in November, we didn't even know anything about AI. This is when Microsoft started announcing their investment. And look what Microsoft did this year. Oh, shit. As we see right now, it's a banger. As Microsoft this year adds, a paltry $1 trillion there for Microsoft this year. Saudi Aramco, despite oil being down, they actually lost as spot this year, down to 2.15 trillion. Berkshire Hathaway, again, will say rest in peace today to Charlie Munger. Again, congratulations for all the success of the Munger family and everybody that's been going with Berkshire. I think a life to be celebrated, probably, without getting too political. I know there's some stuff there as well, but again, Berkshire right there, up 2 more spots. And despite holding Coca-Cola and all that kind of stuff, Apple makes this name go upside, as well as a nice day. And then look at Tesla today, cracking the top 10 as well, adding more than doubling. Again, 749, adding 360. So a lot of stuff to talk about. Hey, what a great show, but it would not be over with. Let's get out of there. How do I hit escape? Is that what works? Hit F11 again. Yeah, there we go. Sometimes I can get it figured out. It would not be a show unless we did this. All right, who is here? It's roll call time right now. I have some more interesting tweets. Do you guys like that segment? I mean, I think interesting things that we've tweeted. I think we could do that. I don't know. Right here. Okay, it's roll call. I said this year to my kids. I think it just means what's up. So what's up to you, Dan McConnell? I think me and you, Dan, might be too old to use this, but hey, cool for that. What up, Dan? What's up to Andrew's here as well? Chris over here. Here's Chris. Anyway, oh yeah, by the way, shout out to my guy Sharif, who just started going roll call on his show. That's okay. It's okay, we're all friends right now. There it is, D-Loaf, 1 trillion. Oh, that's right, I did that 1 trillion thing. That's pretty cool. Shout out to Mike Myers there in Canada as well. Ayo to Juan, ayo to Henry. What's up to D-Loaf right there? What's up to Dan McIsaac? He said it because of me. Shout out to you. Sean gonna do the gritty. Yeah, maybe we'll do the gritty. My kids, my kids do it on the ice. It's go crazy. Let's talk options, says Mr. Love Shack. Soon, my guy, soon. We'll do that. What's up to Lark is here as well. The Sean Don. What's up, Trey Only? I like that name as well. Yeah, Gang. What's up to Ryan? Everybody's here, man. Tom Birch, Super SPAC Man, the Boring Man. Everybody is here right now. Get some Boring Company shares if I could. Shout out to Elon as well. Look, I can't do this show without Ramin and Fabian, so a big shout out to them as well as Adara, who gets me some of those cool tweets as well that I can't find during the show. So I'm going to say a big shout out to everybody that helps make this show go boom. I'm going to be a big shout out to my family. I had a great 5 days, man, but I'm so glad to be back in the saddle because I feel like this is what we're doing, man. Real traders stay late, and you stayed late with hopefully the realest one around. That's what we're all about. So shout out to everybody that's here. Thank you so much for watching. I'm coming home to barbecue pork chops tonight. Should be a good one. Some pork chops and some mash as we get going there. So I'm coming home. I'm excited. It's going to be a nice night with the family. We start again tomorrow with all of our events, but it's going to be a good one. What's up, Ozan? I just saw you in the chat. Join me every single day, but make sure you hit the like, make sure you hit the subscribe, and hey, for everybody still watching, just drop some nice comments, man, or whatever comments you want in the chat, because I'm going to read them after this as well. So thank you so much. I'm glad to be back with everybody, and I'm not going anywhere until I get kicked out of here, which hopefully won't happen. I'm Sean Katina. Thanks, Fabian, for staying late with me as well, and thank you to everybody out there as well. I'm Sean. We're back tomorrow at 8:30. Ciao.